Willkommen, bienvenue, hello, bonjour, konnichiwa, hola, privyet, and all other applicable languages. Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Creation ModCon, a wonderful, delicious, delightful showcase of the various Skyrim mod teams that we have under the general Creation ModCon umbrella. I myself am Trendane, one of your presenters, and this...
It's Captain Stu, back again for day 2 and another ModCon. So we're going to run through the day and let you know what you're in store for today. So first of all, we're going to start with a Q&A session. That'll run for about an hour. If anyone has any questions, fire them to us in the chat.
And then at roughly 5 p.m. UTC, we have Beyond Skyrim Together.
And then following that, good old Arcane Impact will be running down a donation incentives to raise some money for Doctors Without Borders.
Fantastic charity. It's wonderful. And then at 7 p.m. UTC, approximately, remember, all times with live streams are approximate and subject to change, but at 7 p.m. UTC, we have the Skywind stream.
Also, it's pretty exciting, Trendane.
It do.
Shall we get the show on the road then?
Yes, actually, that's what I'm supposed to say.
That sounds like music to my eyes. All right then, let's begin with our Q&A. So, we're going to have, as I say, a bunch of the leads from, say, Roscrea, Atmora, Iliac Bay, Skywind, Argonia, Ezroniet, Cyrodiil, and Forcefield. If you have any questions, fire them into the chat, but we're just waiting for them to jump in from backstage to us now. So let's try and coo them in. Coo, 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 where are you all?
More of a trill to kind of a ooh, ooh, kind of a thing. Oh, that, yeah.
Whoops. And here we are at the Q&A. Fantastic. Hello, everybody. So we're going to begin with a little introduction to who we have. So AF Bates, tell us about yourself.
Hi there, I'm AF Bates. I am the writing lead at Roscrea at Beyond Skyrim Valewood, and I am one of the triumvirate, the 3 leaders of the Arcane University. And as writing lead on Roscrea, I've been working to bring the entire writing staff and project together from a level design writing perspective and implementation perspective to get our big cities and our smaller locations finalized.
Great, thank you very much. Aidan, tell us about yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aiden. I'm one of the narrative leads on Beyond Skyrim Atmora. I've sort of had my hands in the pie for a while now, working on the main quest, a lot of the lore, a lot of the side quests on the continent, and I can't wait to tell you guys really cryptic and vague things about it.
Ooh, I like cryptic and vague. This is exciting. Garfield, what do you do and how do you do it?
I am the lead developer on Beyond Skyrim Iliac Bay, and yeah, we've just pretty much been chipping away at Three Kingdoms, and you saw a decent bit of it yesterday, but yeah, it's just sort of continuing on as always,
Thanking you kindly. And Newton, what exactly do you do and how do you do it?
Hello. I am one of the file cutting leads on the Skywind team, which, in case you don't know, is essentially audio processing. But my primary role is I am a level designer, making dungeons and interiors for the most part. Happy to be here with you all, and happy to talk about the project.
Oh, we're happy to have you. Thank you very much. And Reed, what do you do?
I'm one of the writing leads on Argonia. I'm also a writer for Cyrodiil, Valenwood, Elsewhere, and an editor for Morrowind. And how I do it is, well, exhaustedly, as I'm running between projects.
Thank you so much. Salah, tell us about yourself.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. I'm one of the writing leads on the Ezra Niet team, and there's not really much to say about that besides I just type away on Google Docs and ask people to do the things I don't want to do. Probably shouldn't do that, but and all I can really say is that we've just been working very hard for the last about year and a half, trying to bring to life the beautiful culture that is the Ezra Niet archipelago and the cities and everything else to do with this.
Thank you very much, bud. Spam, tell us about yourself.
Hello. I'm Spam, QA lead on Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil and Morrowind. I am also senior implementer on several projects and do some asset implementation and stuff like that. How I do it, pain mostly, I would say.
To the pain, my favorite. And Forcefield, tell us about yourself.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Forcefield. I'm the sole creator, one-man army doing Ollenveld. How do I do it? Well, it gets tiring. After a whole day of full-time job, I still need to develop Ollenveld as a hobby. I do quest design, landscapes, interiors, I do everything, basically. Mostly just pressing buttons on the CK, hoping it doesn't crash, and well, hoping to bring Ollenveld alive. Or undead, I don't know.
Yes, you said you wanted to be known as the undead daddy.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, it's exhausting, but I mostly want to bring the mod alive for you guys to play. I want to do something that the community can play and have some fun with it. That's the most important thing. So thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And lastly, of course, that demonic, satanic sounding miscreant, Trendane.
That was not demonic.
It was fairly demonic.
It was not. Demonic has much more base to it. But for those of you who are wondering or do not know, or both really, I am one of the voice actors from Beyond Skyrim Bruma, which was basically our, what do you call those things when you want to test and see if you can do something? Proof of concept. Thing that we did like 400 years ago, I think it feels like. Sometime, no, it was like 10. But yeah, it was. I did the voice of both of the followers that you can get in Beyond Skyrim Bruma, which were Dartakto the Khajiit and Doomrag the what is his name? Orc. Yeah.
Right, and Trendane will obviously, as you can probably tell, be offering a bit of color to today's proceedings as well. So let's begin. Let's ask a question to. Ooh, let's see. How about the have we got any of the Morrowind gang in today, actually? Who's Morrowind?
Morrowind was, well, Megalos was supposed to be here, but
Oh yes, we're
she's
missing
not here.
somebody.
Yeah.
So if you have any
Depending on the question, maybe me or Reed could answer it.
Oh, very
yeah.
good. I was gonna say, I was gonna say if you had any questions for Morrowind, tough. But if you're willing to answer some questions, let's see how we get on. So,
Yeah,
how much of Morrowind will we be able to see from the New North?
Ooh,
I
there's been quite a lot of like LOD work recently, so
yeah.
you will be able to see mostly like LOD landscaped stuff from the New North. So, but since you won't be able to go onto Vardenfell or the mainland, you will just see what you can see from the islands, basically.
But it's pretty much the entire north coast you'd be able to see.
hmm
Cool. I might just fire through the Morrowind questions actually, since they are a communal answering. Has starting voice acting introduced any unexpected issues in development?
I don't know if either of us are really equipped to handle that one. I know casting has just started, and we're sort of finalizing edits on all the voice lines right now. So really just normal editing for the most part.
Yeah, I don't
be-
I don't think we're constrained by it yet. There might be a, you know, there might be a point where we recorded so much VA that edits are going to be hard to do to quests if we realize
Mhm.
something is missing. But we're not at that point yet, so we're still like full implementation all the way.
To be fair, I could have answered that question as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, not really. And the last question I've got for the Morrowind guys: what are the last major hurdles in the way of the New North release? If you're privy to such things.
I would say, I mean, VA is going to be a big challenge that hasn't been undertaken by Beyond Skyrim in a while now.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of stuff that we need to figure out how to do it efficiently. That's going to be a big thing. Other than that, I think we're missing some critical art assets
Yeah.
that we're working on. That would be great to have in the New North. So if you're an experienced 3D designer, especially doing creatures or um, tile sets, you're very welcome to apply.
Brilliant, and very well handled, considering these were not designated questions for you, but thank you for answering them. Trindane, any thoughts?
Yes, actually, since Benny Hokkaido just did it, speaking of designated questions, when you have a question, please put it in square brackets, as Benny did, with question in all caps, so we can identify them very easily and copy paste them to the thing. I did see somebody ask, what's the key to a good Khajiit voice? For me personally, I would say that very much like with, we regular everyday humans, we don't all sound alike. And so, various Khajiit are going to have a mixture, a slight differentiation of thicknesses of accent and whatnot. And with D'Artacto in particular, there's a part in his quest where he says, I don't, and then he stops and catches himself and says, you see, this one broke with the Khajiit dialect. Because sometimes it happens. So work with your director if you can and figure out what they're looking for. That's usually the way most things work with voice acting. That's what the directors are there for, is to help you drill in and focus in on what they are looking for.
That's absolutely spot on. I would say almost exactly agree. When I did Zalrir for Iliac Bay, who was debuted a couple of mod cons ago, I was given, I don't want to say who it's based on, but I was given specific direction to base it on a character from a movie, but also he'd broken away with the normal Khajiiti way of talking. So there was there's many ways to sink a boat.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's try a fire question to you, Salah, about Esroniet. What is the next step for Esroniet in the terms of development? You're basically obviously at the kind of foundation level. So what's the kind of next big goal for you guys moving forward?
So speaking as the writing lead, one of the main focuses for us right now is to keep working on the character writing, keep finishing up like their stories, their personalities, just them, and place them in each cities. So far, it's been great work, but not quite done yet. But also, it's very important for us to work on the dialogues because obvious reasons. But beyond that, it's also like at the point of now that cities are starting to come together, their identities, their histories, even like the layouts of them, now that these are coming closer to, finalization, now we're working on the quests and like the little odd jobs. Think like strangers and freaks kind of things in Red Dead Redemption 2. Just fun little things to occupy your time. But beyond that, beyond writing, so beyond my purview in a way,
Right.
we're working a little bit harder just to finish up on 2D art and to begin our work like fully, like full steam ahead on the 3D assets. And the implementation is set assets. This way we can fill out the world, and inshallah next year we can show off Black Harbor in its full glory.
Fantastic. Question for at Mora. The Laughing Glacier. Is this meant to be the corpse of Lorcan? Can you reveal that, or is this information that we are holding on to at the moment?
Yeah, it might be the corpse of Lorcan. Some people say it's the corpse of a dead god. I mean, the thing is something that we really enjoy about Elder Scrolls lore is that it is a little bit unreliable. You are experiencing it through the lens of the people who live there. And so if some guy thinks it might be the corpse of Lorcan, that's a wonderful idea. We will provide some evidence for, but there'll probably be some other much more reasonable quote unquote explanation. Like, a ancient battle was fought there and it was formed out of thousands of frozen corpses, something a little more low key.
Cool. Question for the Roscrea gang. How close is Roscrea writing to being finished?
That's a good question because Roscrea writing is at a really interesting junction right now. We've basically done all of the writing that people consider the writing for a mod. So we've done all the NPCs, we've done all the quests, we've made all the locations work, we've done all the scenes. But now we have to do things like generics, which is what I've been working on basically nonstop for the past week and a half, which is need something and and I used to be an adventurer like you. All of that falls under the purview of generics, and there are hundreds and hundreds of generic lines that can be assigned to different voice types. Sometimes individual voice types, like male imperial, sometimes multiple voice types, like all of the child voice types will say the same thing. And so doing it is more like a math problem than it is like normal writing, and it is incredibly complicated, but really quite worthwhile and quite fun. I don't know how long that's going to take us because I have never led through a generics section before. Valenwood's pre-release, when I was writing that with my team there, we don't have generics because it's for one thing a smaller area, so a lot of the generic things are just done as unique lines. But with Roscrea, because it's a full project, we need more. So that still has to be done. We need to write a bunch of literature, the books that you run across everywhere. Finish up some world encounters, which are like the highwaymen that run up to you on the road. But apart from that, the writing is really in good shape for Roscrea. We should be done within the next couple months, certainly by the end of the year, with the stuff that needs any voicing. And yeah, it's just a fun junction because it's not the sort of thing that you can just work on a quest and then turn it in as a quest that you did and go, this was great, because you're stuck with hundreds of generic lines. And yeah, it's a different stage of writing, but we are quite far along.
Amazing. Good to hear. Right, for Cyrodiil, will we see other Adric-related magic or items like Stendarr's hammer, where praying or piety is rewarded?
The answer here is yes. We will have some more artifacts, but most won't have the scope that we've explained for this Stendarr's hammer that you can see in our showcase. Will be more in line with vanilla. But I don't want to reveal too much because that would kind of take away from it would kind of take away and spoil some of your enjoyment of the mod in the end. So,
Right. That's
the
very
answer
smart.
is yes, but we won't say what.
Right. Well, we'll be looking forward to that for sure. Olenveld, can you kind of roughly tell us how large the world space of Oldenveld is, maybe in comparative terms?
Yeah, sure. So, realistically speaking, I don't know how to count the playable cells. I don't have a proper method, or I haven't learned it yet. However, I can confidently say that it's big. For example, you know the Solcairn map?
Yeah,
Probably the overworld, the island. I guess it will be close to it or a little bit bigger than Solcairn. Because I have a lot of mountains and a lot of small roads interconnecting everything. However, I'm not accounting for the underworld side or the cave system of Olenveld. The cave system is big, and it's all interconnected too. So it's hard to tell. There's also dungeons that lead and connect both overworld and underworld. There's also the Soulcairn expansion of the map, which, if you guys are worried, no, I haven't touched the Soulcairn map record on the CK. I want to keep compatibility high as possible, so it's a new world space record, but mimicking the Soulcairn one. So there's also that. So I would say you will have a great playable area if you're worried about that.
fantastic. Horrifying in a good way. That's what we like to
Yeah.
hear. Argonia, the most important question probably anyone's going to ask today, or answer, in fact. Will we be able to adopt Argonian children?
Hopefully, eventually. That's a late stage development, so we haven't set aside any children for adoption yet. But fingers crossed, we'll get there someday.
Right, thank you very much. Iliac Bay. What was that ring we saw highlighted briefly in the showcase?
So that was Voa's ring. It is an item from, I think, Elder Scrolls Redguard. And we can't talk much about it. It has some involvement in a quest, sort of on the Abyssine Isles, but you'll get to see it when you're playing Three Kingdoms, that's for certain.
You see, listeners, we're trying to pry this information out of them, but they're putting up a strong fight. They are. How about let's go to Roscrea. Will we see other temporary followers like Dagnor around Roscrea?
Absolutely. There are a lot of quests that have temporary followers. There are also 5 permanent followers that you can recruit. Some are mercenaries that are easy to pick up. Others you have to do a full quest, or even in one case, an entire quest line in order to get them. And for our followers, we aim for the as a baseline, the sort of content that you would get for Serana, and then we try and go a little bit above that and make things a little more unique and interesting than you would find for most followers in vanilla Skyrim. They are not as complex as some of the follower mods like Inigo that have thousands upon thousands of unique lines. We don't have that kind of time, but they are, I think, really solid, and they are all written by some of our best writers. So you'll see some of them.
Amazing. Let's go to Atmora. How many totem gods are currently planned besides the 9 established in Skyrim? Are there any examples you can give?
Yeah, so I mean, this is something we actually discussed quite a bit. Which kind of extra totem gods would we add? Are they compatible with sort of the existing themes and vibes that you get in the small bits and pieces of Skyrim? Um, Most of our effort has been in fleshing those, we like to think, more primal aspects of the gods out. What makes the moth unique in Atmoran, what makes the snake unique in Atmoran. We had a few ideas for possibly the bull, for the raven, the goat, but our effort is on making sure that the gods that are featured have a lot going for them. So some of the more, I guess, obscure totem gods that maybe didn't make their way all the way to Skyrim. I mean, you'll have to see for yourself.
Oh, very cryptic. Cyrodiil, can we bring Daedric artifacts such as Wabberjack or the Woeful Axe to Vigilance of Stendar once we join them for gold or other items?
Yeah, so this is a mechanic that we want to introduce, or that we are introducing for the Vigilance. They will be even quite forceful if you enter their compound with Daedric artifacts or something like this. They're quite forceful about you not using them. So that this is seen as a transgression to enter the place with a Daedric artifact, and they will ask you to pass it on to them. So yes.
Cool, brilliant. Isronier, how much of Akaviri culture does Isronier intend to portray?
So I love that you asked this question because I actually prepared an answer for this.
Oh, very good.
With so with this thing, like a major piece of Asvernia in our vision is obviously the remnants of the Akaviri races and the time that they spent on the archipelago. And the majority of this vision includes with the Seichi. And we obviously don't want to ruin the mystery and the intrigue of the Seichi. That would ruin the fun. But we obviously will be showing the beauty of the ruins, the murals, all these things. But we also wanted to leave them an extra legacy, something I haven't seen like many other portrayals do. We wanted to show that they obviously were not the kindest to the Esriniat. And, well, I'll just give a little tidbit. We have them as master alchemists, and, well, while they were in Esriniat, they used the Esri as subjects in their experiments. And to this day, if you go to Seichi ruins, God help you. There are ancient things that they created there that still roam and will be very dangerous creatures.
Yikes. Creepy. Talking of creepy, Olenveld, will we see other enemies besides undead?
So Olenveld is mostly a deserted island, composed of a lot of dead bodies on the ground. You can expect, while traveling through Olenveld, some surprises, like corpses rising out of the ground, graveyards that are abandoned, outposts to conquer, but it's mostly just the local populace of the island that is trying to re-establish itself as a settlement, and the necromancers that have the undead army at their disposal. You will encounter some wildlife as you try to re-establish power over the island, but that's mostly it. I have created some new enemies since the island's magical power is off the charts in some areas. You will see, maybe in the trailer you already saw some, the glacier spriggans, the glacier skeletons, the boss humanoid skeleton too. So those are mainly the enemies that you shall encounter. Not that much besides that.
Cool. Little question for Skywind. Will Skywind have small updates like how Skyblivion and Beyond Skyrim has a couple of armors on Nexus?
So for the most part, we don't plan on publicly releasing any of our assets, apart from our general image-based progress updates. Mostly because things end up just shifting around a lot. And really, in general, we used to have a public build available, but for now, we're just keeping things behind closed doors. However, you should check out our progress updates. We post screenshots on our Discord like every week.
Cool. Let's go to who haven't we done in a while? Ruskria. Will we be able to support any of the cults that we like, or is one or more sort of an antagonist cult?
So the cults are not on a spectrum of good to bad. Each of them has their own good qualities and negative qualities as well. One of the things we're really trying for with Roskria is the player comes in and they are a visitor, an outlander, a stranger in this land. They are not going to become head of the cult. They're not going to become emperor of the island. There's none of that. So these people are going about their normal lives. The bear cult, the owl cult, the whale cult, all of those people are existing without the player's help. And so the quests are more personalized and individual, but you are not, except for certain quest arcs, making massive changes to the lives of everybody there. So nobody is, or no cult is a singular antagonist. The bear cult is the largest and most dominant cult across the entirety of Roskria. They took over several hundred years ago, and all the other cults are sort of tolerated minorities who know that they do bow to the bear cult, even though they have their own traditions. And so there is that sense of they are the establishment, and so you could think of them as an antagonist in that way, but they have a lot of good qualities as well. And when it comes to joining the cults, you can't actually join them, even though you will have quest lines related to them, because you are an outsider. You are not Roskrian, and while they may call you friend once you've done a bunch of tasks for them and once you've established your worth, you're not one of them, and that's the case for every cult there. No matter how much you try, you're not Roskrian. So I hope that answers the question.
I think that was very concise. Thank you very much. Argonia. I imagine the transition into Argonia is going to be difficult with so many new terms and concepts. Is the team taking any unique steps to help smooth out the learning curve?
Yeah, so obviously, if you're coming from Skyrim directly into Argonia, you have to take a boat. There's no way you can just walk there. So there's 4 ports that you could potentially show up in, the 3 Turnian ports, so Thorn, Soulrest, and Gideon, and Archon is the 4th one. That's an Anzaleel port. The 3 Turnian ports, they're going to be more familiar to the player to begin with, because they're a more imperialized area. Regardless of where you go, pretty soon after you arrive, you're likely going to run into an NPC that will want to talk to you about why you're in Argonia in the first place, and also give you a chance to ask them a few questions about Argonia. That introduces you to a couple core concepts, such as the Turnian and Zaleel rivalry. As you're wandering around Argonia, you can encounter some random encounter generic NPCs that can introduce you to a couple more concepts. Like you might run into a generic tree minder who gives you the basics of like, here's what the hists are, here's what we do. Might run into some wandering monks. They'll tell you about Sithis, that sort of thing. There's also several books. Like we have one book that is just sort of like a glossary of really basic Jill terms, so you know what all these Argonians are saying, and when they're insulting you and when you're not. That's an important thing to learn very early on. So hopefully with all these different methods, you'll encounter the basic information you need just as you're exploring the area.
Amazing. No, a question for Iliac Bay from the impressively named Chiff Monkey. For Iliac Bay, what's the distinction between the vertical slice and the pre-release?
Right, so the main distinction is that the pre-release will be released. So the vertical slice is part of our pre-release. It's one of the regions that we're working on in 3 Kingdoms. In fact, it's half of one of the regions that we're working on in 3 Kingdoms. So it's a part of Stros Mackay's sort of general area, and it's sort of just there to show that we can or sort of build a good pipeline within the team for working on like a single area and pushing it to that sort of point of completion. Because once we sort of have that workflow as a team, we think it'll be a lot easier to sort of transition to bigger, more ambitious areas, because 3 Kingdoms is ultimately a very ambitious pre-release.
For sure. Let's go to Atmora again. So how do you go about making Atmora feel even older than the ancient ruins of Skyrim?
That's a great question. One of the wonderful things about Atmora to me is that it's a part of the world that's pretty unexplored. We don't have a lot of existing lore to populate it with, and so we're making our own in a lot of areas. And one of the sort of core thematic elements we focus on and aim to illustrate in the world and the setting is that it's a lot more mythic and untamed than Skyrim. A lot of the ancient ruins in Skyrim are going to be contemporary to a lot of the culture you see in Atmora. It's the dragon cult that themselves came over from Atmora, along with a lot of other Atmorans, in kind of the waning days of Atmora. And there's still thousands and thousands of years of ancient history, especially the Oldmer, their influence on the Moran slaves, how that influenced their culture. And so you really see, even in the ice itself, layers of ancient ideas and concepts that we love to sort of blow up and show larger than life. And so we aim to have it feel like you're in a saga and a myth, more so than we think Skyrim, which was a little more down to earth, which is kind of an interesting way to talk about an Elder Scrolls game, but we hope it's the comparison is a good one.
Awesome. Cyrodiil, I'm going to come at you with a two-tiered question here. Will the Vigilance have some interaction with the Knights of the Nine quest line? And, more importantly, why is the Hammer of Stendar so big?
Okay, so first and foremost, there will not be any major connections between Vigilance and Knights of the Nine. So there might be some tangential references in between them, but they are separate quest lines, and there's a limit to how complex things can be. And in terms of why the hammer is so ridiculously big, this is actually something that is sourced from lore, and it's part of the mechanics that we're using for the hammer. The hammer in its initial state is far too heavy to carry for one person, and much less swing, of course. But the part of the mechanics around the hammer is that only those that are worthy in the eyes of Stendar can use it properly, and can, for someone that has followed the edicts of Stendar and proven themselves worthy, the hammer will feel lighter.
Fantastic. Let's go to Atmora again. Is there any specific plan to tackle the large world space, such as taking it on region by region or at a time or similar?
Yeah, absolutely. So the plan is to take each region one at a time, where we have the vast majority of the team focusing in on the quests and the design and the creatures all at once. We, while currently the concept art team is currently focused on Jokelfrick and the Forelgrim, the writing team is giving a pass on Sudfik, as well as a lot of the expedition quests. Most of the regions, or sorry, all the regions have a lot of the quests already in them, or at least a first pass on them. We're hoping to go over them one more time, fill in some areas we think could be explored, make sure they are consistent with each other in the future. But we generally aim to approach them systematically, one by one, rather than just sort of shotgun across the whole massive project.
Right. Over to Olenveld. How long is the main story of Olenveld comparable to the Dragonborn DLC, for example?
I think
just a
the
moment.
stream went down.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just about to say the stream went down.
Uh,
I'll tell everyone to refresh in the stream chat. Yeah, YouTube does some weird shit sometimes.
Hello, everybody. Sorry for that. YouTube is being weird. If you're having some issues with your stream, just refresh the page. We're still going.
All
Live
right.
theater.
We're
All
live,
right.
pal.
We're live
Um,
again.
So yeah, well, the question I asked Olenveld was comparable to the Dragonborn DLC. How long is the story?
Well, from Olenveld's perspective on the story, I'm not sure I can compare it to Dragonborn. They are two different things. So the main quest in Olenveld is very linear. It doesn't have that many consequence-based choices. What I'm trying to do with the island and the mod is more. I think the people that will appreciate it more. If you are all familiar with the Far Cry game loop, you have an island, you capture it, the outposts, and you go slow, you get new equipment, new stuff, and then recapture it again on different areas. That's mostly all. Well, the island is under siege, and you start from the city to the end of the island, to the other side of the island, and you will conquer zone by zone, outpost by outpost. Of course, there's a story associated with it, but how long? I can't really say for sure. I know I spent some hours on it, even playtesting and just speed running through it, but I can't really say for sure. However, I would say you will get fun at least for 1 hour. But that's really hard to tell, and I still need to do some polishing on the dialogue systems and the NPC lines. So if you are one of those people that read a lot of dialogue, of course you will have plenty of time. But if you just want to get into the action and just speed run through it, smashing every skeleton that you see in front of you, I can say at least a couple of hours of fun, maybe more, if you explore every nook and cranny. But I can't really compare to Dragonborn. That was done by Bethesda. I hope I
No
could be
problem.
at their feet, but nah, I'm just a single guy.
No problem at all. That was more than more information that was actually required. So I'm going to ask a few more specific project specific questions, and then I'm going for the last 10 minutes. I'm going to move on to a more broad questions for everybody to answer. But Argonia, how many varieties of spear can we expect to see in Argonia?
All right. Well, I can safely say at least 4 because that's how many we have currently. We have
Good.
the Barsabic Spear we showed last year, the Chitin Spear we showed this year, Eternian Iron Spear, and a 4th spear that's a special one, so I'm not going to mention what that one is right now.
Ooh.
Ideally, we will have spears for basically all of our weapon sets. So as we make more weapon sets, we'll just get more and more spears, but safely, the 4 right now.
Right. Iliac Bay, Cerium, in Inoherna is bigger than Labyrinthium, isn't it?
I believe so. I don't actually have the exact numbers, so it feels bigger. I can say that it feels a bit bigger because is quite dense, and the idea is it's a full city. It's I think about 36 houses where they all have sort of something in them, whether that's just piles of rubble or like a basement you can pop into, like an upstairs portion you can go in. It's a fully explorable city ruin. So it's sort of comparable to Labyrinthian. There's a lot more explorable space in Inoherna, even if it isn't necessarily bigger in terms of like square footage or whatever.
Right. Cool. At Mora, what are the main differences between pre and post rewriting?
Oh, yes. So this is something I can't get into too many details of, just because that'd be talking about all the details that have been tweaked and changed. But overall, the rewrite isn't so much a complete destruction of everything that came before. It's a tweaking. It's a expanding. We with the rewrite. A lot of what we tried to do was make it more unique and memorable. One of the core themes we're hoping to explore is the idea of being stuck in the past and moving on in some way or another. And people have more wholesome relationships with that topic. People have more tragic relationships with that topic. The continent itself is sort of a character in that conversation. And so I think the rewrite deals with these issues in a lot more complex way, and also taps into a lot more deeper mythic ideas. And so I'm very excited with it.
Brilliant. Let's go to Esroniet. Has it been difficult coming up with these new cultures from scratch? Any primary inspiration / references they were built on?
I love that you asked this question, and so far it's been very fun and just educational to blend like all the beautiful things that there are in the world to like learn from. Like as some noticed, we have like a lot of South Asian influences, we have some Arabic influences, and you can see this like in the accent that was used. Someone pointed out that it was Arabic sounding accent. But like even in the game, or the mod itself, you could see the language has its, roots in Indonesian or Malay, and you can see it in architecture, especially like for Earl, the cultural capital of the island, archipelago, whatever the word is. It has a lot of Islamic and Arabic style architecture, and beyond all this, like it's just the food, everything. It's been very fun. And the most helpful thing with all this is we have a very diverse team. We have some people, for example, for me, I come from a Middle Eastern background. Others come from Europe. Others come from countries like Indonesia and Malaysia and such. And some of us also study, it starts with the anthropology, like even as our majors. So it's been very fun. I wouldn't even consider it difficult as much as just very interesting to like sift through the world and see like what we could learn and use and just all this.
Brilliant. Argonia, can you tell us something about the possible tribes we'll encounter? Are they based on existing lore and / or did you come up with new tribes too?
So we're going to be seeing the 4 like subtypes of Argonians that are mentioned in the Argonian account. So the Sarpa, which in both this ModCon and last ModCon, there were a couple Sarpa NPCs scattered around that you can see. They're the more bird-like Argonians. The Agasef, the Patru, and the Naga are also going to be around. Even for like the regular Argonians, they're going to be broken up into several different tribes. The Anzalil are kind of like the biggest tribe, though calling them a tribe is a bit of an understatement. But there's a bunch of smaller tribes scattered around. The Garinlil, which are the ones we saw in the ModCon video for this year, are one of the like bigger small tribes. They have 2 big villages, but yeah, that like the Garinlil are something we just sort of made up ourselves for the project, and there's going to be, I don't know, around maybe 10 of those if I remember correctly. So there's going to be a big diversity of tribes.
Right. Fantastic. So we're getting to the last 10 minutes now. So this probably this year we've had more questions, I think, than any of the previous ModCons. So what we'll do is a lot of the project specific questions we've been asked, we will start a Reddit thread and we will try to answer them there. But we're going to do a bit more of a broad spectrum, asking everybody essentially the same question, just to get a bit of a moot going on. So let's start with as more and more projects near completion, will developers move to other projects to help speed up their development? And again, that's to everybody. Who wants to go first?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, just to
sure,
jump
go ahead,
in.
go ahead.
Yes. We go from project to project. Most people are on multiple projects at this point.
Mhm.
And we usually know where we're headed next. I was in Valenwood. My work at Valenwood ended because we finished the writing there. I moved on to Roscrea. I know after Roscrea, I'm probably going to head to Iliac Bay and help them out, possibly to Atmora, because one of my really good writers at Roscrea is head of Atmora, and so I want to help him out if he needs it. That sort of thing where you leave one because your work there is done, or because you need a change. If you're working on Atmore all the time and you're always in ice and snow, maybe you want to do some work with Argonia to have some color in your life. So we work on a lot of projects, and we also have events like the Get It Done events that we do, where outside people from other projects besides yours are invited to come finish up things that need to be just finished. For instance, Ross Korea is right now just at the tail end of a Get It Done event, so that all of the concept art for the entire mod will be finished. And so they said, hey, every other developer in Beyond Skyrim, come help us finish this up. And everybody just jumped on board and did. It's a really great community that way.
Here is.
Yeah.
Let's,
Yeah, I can go.
please do.
Yeah, so quick answer. Olenveld will be my first and my last mod. I've been trying to also do in real life a career change. I'm gonna try to go to game dev, indie game dev. I've been learning Godot on the side. I've been learning 3D, 2D, sound design. So I'll probably have to pivot to that. I would love to help other projects, but I unfortunately don't have that much of time on my hands. And I really want to say sorry for that. But if I ever could, and it was a great idea when I was unemployed and in college, I actually had that mindset, and I actually did some tutorials for the Arcane University. But now I don't have the time. But yeah, so I probably won't participate in other projects. However, if anyone from the community ever wishes to send me a message asking something or a question on this creation kit, please feel free to do so, and I'll help the best I can when I'm available.
Wait a second. Did you say something about the Arcane University? I don't think I've ever heard of that. Could you,
No, it doesn't sound
Yeah.
familiar at all.
no, I don't think definitely. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, moving
No,
on.
but yeah, fellas, if you want to learn and participate in projects, do check them out.
That does sound like a great idea. If only somebody had told me that 20 times yesterday.
I could tell you 20 times now.
Please.
You're welcome.
So moving on. Here's a great question. Has the successful release of Fallout London affected the morale on all your projects? I would imagine it's probably had a positive effect, considering its reception.
Jumping in there from the perspective of someone on the Skywind team. Oh, absolutely. I know it's hard to believe these projects can in fact finish. It's really cool, contrary to popular belief. And it's been really nice to see something actually get done. Especially as was mentioned earlier, us and pretty much all of these projects are kind of not about to release, getting there in their progress. In general, the feeling of seeing a department finish or seeing a subset of the game be finalized instead of just 99% done on hold is really, really good. It's really nice to see these things
I
actually
fully
finish.
agree. I fully agree with what you said. Seeing projects come out finally. I mean, for the players, it's awesome, and for us developers, I think I can speak for everyone, but we developers know what type of work and how many hours are going to these projects. So seeing them be successful, at least for me, it warms my heart the whole time. So many props to them. I'm very happy for them, and I hope all the projects here can also succeed.
You hear that, folks? It warms the heart of the person that created Olenveld.
Of the undead daddy.
You see? All right, I'm going to do two more kind of group questions, and then we'll move on to our Beyond Skyrim together playthrough. So for everybody, what is the biggest hurdle for your project currently, and what is the most fun part of working on these projects for you?
I just wanted to say for myself, sorry to just jump in over you, but for us mainly, as we're a smaller team, similar as Olenveld, the main issue is just exactly that. We have a small team. We don't have very many writers or 3D artists or voice actors. Like we're generally quite scaled down, so that makes things a bit more difficult to go fast. But despite this, it's been incredible so far to work on this project between spending nights just chatting and pitching ideas to each other, bouncing off, editing things, and coming up with some of the most creative things that we've personally done. And also just to see how everything is slowly coming together. And personally, it's been great just to get to know everyone and understand everyone's skill set and work with it. But that's just my personal view on this.
Fully agree.
Yeah, absolutely. The collaboration has been the most enjoyable part of working on this project for me. All the people with incredible ideas, incredible skills, coming together to make something cool and interesting and creative is, I mean, it's there's really nothing else quite like it.
Yeah,
I-
I agree. I
seeing
think
your
the-
idea just come to life, it's inexplicable. It's just amazing.
I
It's that-
remember there was a meeting that happened amongst some of the level designers on the Skywind team where we were working on a main quest location, and instead of just one person doing it, we had 5 level designers and one person screen sharing. And that was my favorite moment of working as a level designer on the entire team. Sure, it's cool to build your own locations and go, hey, here's the thing I did. But as everyone else is saying, this collaboration of someone saying, oh, you should do this. Oh, what about this idea? This kind of back and forth as people share ideas and make things better by working together. It really can only happen on these kind of large teams of people who are super passionate, and it's really great.
Anyone else who want to add to that?
I'll just add that working within your discipline is also really fun. The collaborations I have with my fellow writers when I'm working on these projects are often my favorite, like the highlights of my week, my month. My writers and I will get together and write scenes as a scenes party. And so we'll just get together, that we'll have a whole list of prompts from scenes. Everyone will pick one. We'll set a timer. We'll be back in 10 minutes. We'll read them all together. We'll laugh. We'll sometimes get all teary. It's a wonderful, like, emotional experience to have because there's someone there appreciating your writing instantly. Like the moment you finish the last word, someone will be reading it and giving you feedback on it. It's been really great.
I'm going to jump in real quick and ruin the feel good party we have right here because the other half of the question was the biggest hurdle, and we've all kind of ignored that. So I know on Argonia and Morrowind to a lesser extent, we really need editors. So if anyone out there wants to learn editing and wants to join, we could use you. I know a lot of projects also will have 3D bottlenecks quite a bit. So if you know how to 3D or would like to learn, that's what the Arcane University is for. I think somebody mentioned that once or twice.
What?
Uh,
I think I've
Or
ever heard
level
that before.
design. If you want to do
Yeah.
level design, please do level design.
Oh, we're doing our ad reads. Does anyone
Yeah.
know how Nifscope works? Do we have a Nifscope wizard in the chat on this stream? It's this upstream. It's a program that literally nobody knows how to use, but is required to do work in the Skyrim engine. It's great.
Oh god, yeah, Nifscope's a pain.
Yeah,
I've
I
got- I've
wish I knew more Nifscope. Could help a lot. I
I've
just
got
can't
kind of an
seem to
answer to
understand.
both sides of this question here. So yeah, like was said, the biggest kind of hurdle is it's sort of asset requirements for a lot of projects. It's getting all of these models because they are sort of the foundation that everything's built on.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then when they are in, and when everything else kind of, there's this moment in development where everything just kind of comes together. You know, writing stops being, separated to a document. Level design stops being these sort of isolated, sort of explorable parts. And before you know it, you've got a game. You've got something playable where every department, all of their hard work is just sort of come together into that sort of nearly complete package. And I think that is my favorite part of working on it. Seeing an area get to that like state where everyone's work is on display and it's all there.
All right. Well, I think that is time for us today. Again, this has probably been the most questions we've had in a Q&A. So thank you so much for all your questions. We will try to answer these on Reddit, so keep an eye out for that. But we have literally 20 or 30 more questions that we didn't get through. So I personally am looking forward to getting some answers to those. But anyway, we should probably move on to our next segment. Trendane, what do we have next?
What? Oh, right. Well, what we have next is apparently having your own followers and Beyond Skyrim isn't good enough. So we got, Skyrim together or Beyond, whatever. It feels kind of offensive to those followers that you pick up. Whatever. You want to go play with other people? That's fine. I don't mind seeing other people.
Sounds good to me. Let's go.
Alright, hello everybody. My Skyrim is going to start loading up in just a second here, and we're going to get into some Skyrim together. Beyond Skyrim together, even.
Yeah, specifically Beyond Skyrim together.
Come on, Skyrim.
You need to pedal faster, I think.
It'll get there eventually. It's got to sort through a bunch of Iliac Bay stuff.
Oh.
There it is. Yeah. I just got pinged and saying people are missing the AU ads. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get to those. Let's pick a character out here. I think. I actually don't remember what character I just loaded up, but okay. I'm gonna get us over into... Oh, it needs me to sign in. 1 second.
Well, Farley, to answer your question about what is the AU, the Arcane University is a wonderful place. Let's say, for example, you want to learn how to do voice acting. You go over to the Arcane University and you sign up to learn how to do voice acting, or to do it if you already know how. But if you don't, we do have people there who will be happy to teach you. Or maybe you want to learn to do one of the other things, whatever, I don't care.
Yes, can do. I'm just loading in game now, but as soon as it's finished loading and I can tab out without it giving me an immediate CTD. There we go.
Let me get my OBS is apparently not capturing my Skyrim correctly. That's fun. I love that. There we go. Okay. And I am just on the chain already, so...
Okay,
Whoops, that's where we are. So hello everybody and welcome to Iliac Bay. This is specifically Hammerfell, and we have some, oh, is that where the seam is? We have some new water going on here, which is absolutely lovely. Imported from Cyrodiil on their fantastic work on the Gold Coast water.
1 bucket at a time.
It almost seems that way, doesn't it?
Well, that's interesting. There, we've already got an issue. There shouldn't be a seam.
Well, this is the temporary plugin before we actually get stuff set up correctly. So, yeah. It works.
Oh yeah,
alright.
this was just applying some tropical water to the entire world space.
Now, what would you estimate the temperature of that water to be?
Oh, I would say
I'm thinking
pretty
like-
warm.
I think like 500 Celsius, something around that range.
Oh, nice and comfy, yeah.
Here we have the Chorad docks.
I have dropped the little server join info in the text chat now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Oh, come on, Skyrim. You can do it. Thank you.
The fishing off this pier is incredible.
I actually
only-
I cannot wait to get our fishing spot set up. I would absolutely love to just sit right here and do some fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Oh, there we go, there we go. Got machetes. Always good to have in the evening.
Watch what you're doing.
And spears, which were also featured in our showcase yesterday.
There we go. I have joined the server. Hopefully soon we should have Nigamentum joining us.
Oh, great. I am already in the server, so I should be able to group up with you. Main character of DES4. Fantastic. Launch party.
There we go. Look at that. Works flawlessly. This is, by the way, an ad for Skyrim Together, which is a fantastic mod.
It really is. It's incredible how well that this works.
We use it very regularly in the team just to sort of, you know, explore our build together and sort of see how it's all coming together, you know.
You had a bit of the thing in a video yesterday, did you not?
We did, yes. We took some sort of highlights of us playing the game together, and yeah, I thought that would be fun for a showcase, just sort of seeing how all of the in-game work goes.
Yeah, and this is it, just kind of live. This is what it's
This is
what
what
it's
it all
like
is,
for the
yeah.
most part.
Although we're reining it in a little bit.
A little less chaos today.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's sort of, you know, we thought that showcase would give a fun insight to, like, you know, here's what we're working on, but here's what it's like to work on it, because, you know, it is incredibly fun to be able to work on these mods, and I think that's what we wanted to really convey is...
It is a lot of
just
fun.
how much of a good time it is to work on this. It is fantastic.
Doing these streams and seeing all the new stuff, like, I hadn't seen this new water until today, and it's gorgeous. I mean, look at this. I love it.
It is both the water that will probably be here, maybe with a couple of tweaks, but also, if you haven't seen the Cyrodiil team's recent showcase about getting custom waters working, I would look at it. Because they did sort of all of the hard work that allows us to very seamlessly sort of swap from tropical ocean to cold Nordic Ocean in the same world space.
Yeah, we're stealing their notes a little bit, but
Through
that's how it works.
Yeah. And through watching the stream, you'll see that we haven't actually done that setup yet. I just applied tropical water to the entire world space. So if we go anywhere cold, you'll probably see that the water is still tropical.
Yeah, this isn't even, like, merged into the build yet. This is just an extra little thing that we wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess the sort of question is asked of what do we want to do? Where do we want to go?
Well,
Or I guess where do you guys want us to go?
you already saw a little preview of Jane, but if you would like to see more, go ahead and donate to Doctors Without Borders. Because if we get just a little bit more money, we'll go and do a full tour of that exterior level design, because it looks fantastic.
Yep, we are currently at $185 donated, which is awesome.
Ooh, almost there. Almost there.
Yeah.
Tell you what we can do.
You want to go check out Eno Herna?
That's what I was going to say. You beat me to it.
Yeah,
I was going to
let's
say
do
we
it.
did so much to showcase it. Should we take the long way round or just cut across the beach?
Let's
I
take
guess
a long way
depends
around.
how much people want to see.
I think we can take a scenic route.
Yo,
There's
by
a
the way.
couple there's a couple of ways to get there, but we can.
Yeah, okay. We'll take the main path around the island. We'll see what we get sidetracked with.
Show people some of this wonderful flora that we have. Like, just walking around on these islands is such a different vibe from Skyrim, and I love it.
It really is. I mean, it's it's sort of getting a little tropical vacation away from the cold, harsh Nordic landscape to somewhere equally rugged, but a bit more tropical. A bit
Even when
nicer,
it's overcast, like, yeah, weather doesn't transfer over between everyone, so you might, oh, in fact, I can change it on mine, because I have, the in-game editor. So you're, all the people on stream now are getting a special, little insight. This tool is not an internal tool, by the way. This is on Jonah Hex's GitHub. Did a fantastic job with this. Is super powerful.
I think we've been spotted by goblins in the meantime. One of them decided to head over to us.
Oh.
He just came over to say,
Precisely. Should we go deal with the goblins?
Why can't I move? What's going on?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Let's see if I... COC, IBHF, Eco, Herna, yeah.
Matthew, what is this mod? This is Beyond Skyrim Together.
Yeah, we're using Skyrim together and playing a bit of Beyond Skyrim. Early Act Bay for the time being. I remember...
Oh wow, it won't
Was it
even
still
let
a
me COC.
Oh, that's an
Uh-oh.
interesting bug. I guess maybe we don't use the in-game editor alongside this.
I guess not. I didn't think that was going to screw
Cause
stuff
any
up.
issues, no. I guess maybe head back to the main menu then, if that's a possibility.
Let's see if it is. Wait, really? It won't even let me open the menu?
Oh.
Wow. I've
How about the
never seen
console?
this. Console, yes.
Worst case, you might have to force quit the game.
I might have to just get back into it real quick.
I see someone asking if gremlins are in the build.
They are.
How about you wait and see? We might see a couple on the way to Eno Herna.
Here, I'm gonna restart real quick.
Especially if we pass by Gola's grave, which I know we will.
For any of you who have ever thought of doing QA testing for video games, remember to avoid using the word should in your bug reports.
Yeah, if you ever wonder what it's like doing these kinds of things, restarting the game happens a lot.
Oh yeah, I think half of my playtime in Skyrim is spent on loading screens, loading the game.
Oh yeah, easily.
Do gremlins have a custom rig, or do they use the Reekling one? Gremlins, so I think they use Reekling, but they
use
are...
Reekling, I believe, yeah.
They're
They
not
are-
ours.
Yeah,
They
they're the
are made
Mihail.
by Mihail, who does fantastic work, and sort of has his fantastic gremlins with open permissions, and we are using them because, frankly, his are already so good that
I mean,
what was the
these are
point in just
fantastic.
trying to match it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does amazing stuff.
When they dropped and we took a look at them, we were like, oh, well, that's exactly what we wanted. That's it.
And we are now at $270 rated.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're gonna have to show off the chain now.
We are going to have to show off the chain.
Let's go.
Let's continue on down the road a bit. We'll head to Eno Herner, and then I guess we'll pull over to the chain for a little bit.
And specific
Should
thanks
we
to Aonok
start-
and Professional Dragon Slayer for your donations. Thank you.
And if you can see all the new weathers here, all of these are custom now. So it's a pretty similar nighttime to Skyrim, but slightly different. The color grading is different.
Yeah, our little vertical slice has certainly come a long way.
For our audience who knows absolutely nothing about the lore of Skyrim, what are the name of those two moons?
That is Masser and Secunda.
Oh, you're heading on down the road? I thought we were going to go deal with these goblins real quick.
Oh, sure, I'll come back and deal with these goblins.
This goblin sure is trying to deal with me, so...
After all, it's not Elder Scrolls unless we just sort of get sidetracked with some random bullshit off the road.
That never happens.
That is the game.
Exactly. Let's go see what we're dealing with here.
Goblin.
It's like my housemate. Every time he plays Skyrim, they're like, let's go to Riverwood. And he's like, nope, I'm going over here. And he never
But what's
finishes the main
this?
quest.
Ooh, he had a decent little dance going on there. Oh, okay. No sword. I
We'll
want
keep
a
this
goblin
goblin
sword.
wax. I suspect we might run into someone who wants a bit of goblin wax later. We'll see.
Liam would like to know how to get custom map markers enabled after starting the playthrough.
So custom map markers should just work out the box.
Yep.
Should's the keyword.
I was just about to say, should.
Currently, I can safely say they do work out the box. But as with any game development,
There's a grip.
you can fix one thing and break about 5 others. So they will just work out the box, essentially. You don't need to do any extra steps. It's all sort of quite a well-integrated system.
Speaking of little glitches, some of you may notice on the stream that these poles on the goblin tents are purple. We do have the textures for those. They just
Are not set up.
Yeah, they're not
properly.
set up correctly.
I think they're still set to a Cyrodiil file
I think
path.
that is the issue because I don't have Cyrodiil installed.
They are, yeah.
One of those little things that you just go, oh, okay, we gotta fix that later.
We will not be going into this dungeon, Maruna's Moor, for now. We'll save that for later.
It does have an interior to it, and it's quite wonderful.
And thank you, Fizzin, and the ever-popular Anonymous. I see them donating to things all over the place. It's amazing.
Oh, we've passed our 300 mark.
Oh, wonderful.
We have.
Oh, fantastic. We will definitely have to stop off at the chain soon, then.
I am so excited for the chain. We are just about to start writing that, and I mean, it's pirates and necromancers. What more could you ask for?
Winning lottery numbers.
I know we've spoken a couple times on Discord about the unique resident of the chain. Maybe we can divulge a little bit of information when we get there. Maybe.
I
If
mean,
we're
however
feeling
much you
generous.
want to talk about it, I definitely want to talk about it.
Yeah, when we're there, we'll spill the secret details. How about that?
By the way, check out these little bits of Yoku ruins just around the path here. Absolutely fantastic. Just extra thing
These
that we
are
can do with this set.
They're a
did you set
phenomenal
up
set
the-
that we got.
Did you set up the hanging
Not really,
body?
no.
Oh,
Not
okay.
using scripts or anything. I just shoved a placeholder body with Havoc physics disabled.
fantastic. We eventually are going to get a body hanging here.
And it's there for a reason. It's not just a bit of decoration.
Yep.
You know,
There'll be some
we can't spoil too much about all of our
interactions.
quest content here, of course.
It's a goblin pinata.
Absolutely.
Now at this point, since we have the chain reward, if we get up to 500, we will, was that the Fairtree, I think, exploration? Yeah. Yeah,
that works
Fairtree
for
and
me.
then Skaven for if we hit 800. So,
We'll just quickly pop into, well, not into, but pop by
Not
chance
into,
to
yeah.
say hi to a couple of friends.
yeah, the interior of this is in, but still needs some lighting work right now.
You will notice we have these lovely temporary pirate banners that just use a PNG of a Jolly Roger.
I love the
We-
Jolly Roger. I think it's very
we-
cute.
Are going to be designing custom pirate flags just to let you know beforehand. We're in the process of designing some custom ones. We got some rum here. Well, empty bottles of rum if anyone wants it.
We will have several varieties of rum, including
We
some
do,
specialty
yes.
ones.
We have, basic cheap rum that you'll find all over the place, and the fancy stuff from Stross Mackay.
From Saintsport Distillery.
Mm.
That's going to be so much
Although-
fun to design.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it'll be, I think one thing we're very excited for as a team is when we get to Stross Mackay and we get to sort of dive into all those differences. Sort of how much has changed since the Elder Scrolls Redguard or since the Elder Scrolls Online. Because, this Stross Mackay is a lot later, sort of timeline-wise.
I
And
think
quite a lot
since
has changed.
I think Redguard takes place like a little bit after ESO, and then we're still like 1,000 years out from that. So quite a bit could have changed. And of course, obviously, we have all the rest of these islands now. I mean,
Here
look at-
comes Anonymous again with another 10. Love it.
Look at these ruins.
Oh,
Like,
that's-
Garfield,
I'm about to-
Oh, where are you?
I'm fighting the ghouls.
Oh, you're fighting ghouls up there.
I was fought by the ghouls and I lost.
Oh, you got killed.
Maybe that's a sign that ghouls are not to be trifled with if you're a very low-level player.
Ghouls are pretty vicious if you're lower level, especially, maybe I can demonstrate that now. I gave them a new disease that they can give you when they hit you, which slows down your weapon attacks and gives you less damage. So if there's a whole horde of them, it'll be even harder to kind of wade your way through.
And believe me, there are often full hordes of them.
Yeah, they're
And,
meant to be pretty squishy, but lots.
And you can see here, this is or was, a goblin camp that got overrun.
This little environmental
is,
storytelling.
It's a sight you'll see quite a lot. The ghouls are... they're linked to the goblins in a certain way.
And goblins, in and of themselves, are kind of everywhere around the Isles. It is a, they're sort of the rats of these islands. You can get rid of one nest of them and two more pop up somewhere else.
Yeah, the people of Yabesian have tried long and hard to rid themselves of the goblins, but it never works. For very long, at least. So here, we are pulling into Enoherna.
I already
This is,
showed off this this dock area a little bit, but I just gotta give you
Yeah,
kudos,
the-
Garfield. This Enoherna is incredible.
Oh, I only worked within the set that was provided to us, you know? It's
I
a
mean,
very, very good set to level design with.
You're really cooked with it, though.
Oh, I'm happy with how it all turned out. Let's head up to the lighthouse. You'll notice when you first get to Inoherna is that the front gates are locked. And here's the sort of alternate passage you need to find to get in.
And there actually is a way to unlock that through a quest.
Hmm.
Or unlock one of the passages that is an easier route to the docks there.
Well, here we are, the ruins of Inoherna. Guess let's just have a little look around.
Yeah, as of
Explore
yet, there's
some of these houses.
not a ton of enemies around. We are going to add more, but right now this area is not fully nav meshed. As you can see,
Yes.
it's a bit complex. It's going to be a task for nav meshing.
Absolutely, yeah. It is going to be quite a task to sort of second pass, bug
Oh, yeah.
fix, polish. We have a frog pot up here. I don't know if people want to see the frog pot.
Oh, where'd you see the frog pot?
Oh, I think you're in the right house. It's just on the little balcony by the door.
Oh, balcony by the door. Oh, there you are. Yeah, frog pot.
They're fantastic. I
uh,
love these little frog pots.
I think, was it Sayreg who made these?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, they're
just little,
fantastic.
Little
Just
pots
little
of frogs on them.
No problems.
Should we tell you what? I'll show a couple of the fun houses that have things worth finding. The thing is, so for these Yoku ruins, you'd think there would be a lot of chests of loot around, and you would be right. The only problem is, so Nord ruins have the sort of big like urns and pots you can loot. We don't have anything like that made for the Yoku ruins yet. So
We're still working on
currently
clutter.
we've just sort of marked spots that would be good for chests, like this little basement down here. Don't know if any of you guys are around. Yeah, this little basement down here, which even includes a little window into the town center.
Oh, that'd be fun. If we stick an enemy out here, I wonder if you can shoot an arrow through there. We'll have to test.
I don't think so.
Doubt it. I think the
Yeah, I think the collisions block it, but otherwise, fun. It's a fun way of looking in. What you'll notice is that a lot of these houses have a reason to go inside, which is something I'm very excited for. It's a very unique environment for an Elder Scrolls game, I feel. This sort of urban ruin.
We've talked about it before, how this is sort of it's like Fallout by way of Elder Scrolls, because you get all of these ruins just kind of layered on top of each other that you're crawling through. Which feels like a very kind of Fallout experience.
Liam would like a clarification on what nav mesher.
Oh, yeah.
I can talk about that.
Yeah, go for it.
So nav meshing is you hand place a bunch of little dots on the ground and sort of connect them as triangles. And they basically say you can walk here, and if there's no nav mesh, it means you can't walk here. But that needs to... Essentially, NPCs will not on their own be able to realize that there's something in the way. So if you just say, put a big red box over the entire city saying, yeah, you can walk in here, this is a city, they will just try and run into walls repeatedly and endlessly.
Yep.
So you need to manually paint them around every obstacle to ensure that NPCs aren't trying to run into walls or run places where they shouldn't go.
I believe in Starfield they just made it so significantly easier, but yeah, for Skyrim it is very manual.
It's not a it's not a fantastic system, but it's a system. It's what we have to work with.
Yep.
And as delightfully atmospheric as this is, we did have a request from someone to turn it to daytime if at all possible.
Yes, let me see if that'll work if I wait. It's...
Well, if you wait,
Skyrim...
of course it'll work.
Well, with Skyrim together, you don't know.
Skyrim together, no, it tends not to. if I set game hour in the...
Oh, try it. Here, wait, maybe I can do that as well.
It does it for a second.
Set game hour to... Yeah, it flashes it and then it goes right back.
Yes, unfortunately, Skyrim Together, it sort of syncs the time for everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what that essentially means is that we can't really change the time on one person's end.
Right.
It's sort of all a sort of server-side thing, which if we were showing it in single player, absolutely would be able to
Oh yeah.
you know, get that done. But unfortunately, that is one of the downsides of doing it in Skyrim Together. Don't worry, I'm sure we will show this sort of in single player at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you people, you know, watching this live, you sort of get that little sneak peek of what we're up to here.
And speaking of, I'm getting shot at by these goblins up here. Up in the, were we calling this the castle? The little castle area?
Yeah, this is the Inoherna Castle. I've just dealt with the goblins. Do we want to go see the elephants, maybe?
Oh, yes. I think people love the elephants. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Because you're a monster.
Elephants.
Do people want to see elephants? Do you guys want to see some funky little elephants?
I'm sure.
I mean, admittedly, all they really do is just sort of stand there, but they're elephants.
I mean, I was very glad when I noticed that you actually plopped them down. I was so used to, like, spawning them somewhere just to take a look at them. I was like, oh yeah! Elephants naturally in the environment.
Yeah, here they are.
Of course, again, this area also needs to be nav meshed, so they don't realize that they can walk.
Yeah, they just kind of stand here for now.
Yeah, but they look great. The models are fantastic.
Hopefully we will have baby elephants who don't know how to use their trunks yet, so they just sort of sling them around like crazy.
Oh, baby elephants.
If we got sort of an endless supply of animators, I would absolutely love to do that.
If you are a creature animator in any respect, hit up IB. We could use you.
Or even if you're not, try the Arcane University. I hear they have some good courses there for learning how to mob.
Really? I've never heard that.
Heard of what?
So where is somewhere we want to go now? Do we want to...
Well, we could
either head straight to the train, or swing by Cutthroat Key first.
I'm right near Cutthroat Key, so might as well.
Tell you what, we can head there, have a little swim over to Caspar, and maybe check out some of our coral reefs.
Oh, yeah. And also, this will give
And
us
then at that
a little
point-
time here, so maybe it'll be daytime.
Yes, I mean, you want to see the chain in sort of full brightness, really, don't you?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, I think I see you heading to Cutthroat Key there.
These are our pirates, which we just got the leveled lists all figured out for.
Yep, you'll notice they still use vanilla armors because we have a custom pirate clothing set, and it's sort of the equivalent of Forsworn in terms of sort of usage and value.
Yep, so we're just waiting for some more of those pieces before we can actually get these guys properly outfitted.
Exactly, yeah.
It's one of our main bottlenecks still, stuff like weapons and armor.
Yes, absolutely. That's sort of one of the main areas where this project could really use the extra help from more 3D artists is those things like, you know, weapons, armor, clothing. They're sort of one of the bottlenecks that we are facing. So I think getting those done would bring us a long way to getting these areas content complete, really. I will say,
Close. I mean,
Up here at the top of the pirate camp, you can tell we are swimming in custom clutter. The bananas on the floor, the bottles of rum, the sugarcane.
They're just all floating away. Okra.
These lovely little oil lamps.
I love the oil
which we are
lamps.
getting a hell of a lot of use out of.
I mean, it's just so cozy right here. Just this nice little... I love it.
Yeah, this captain has quite a little lookout, doesn't he?
Right? I could sleep here. With the sound of the waves. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, then off to the south, that is Siren Rock. We won't be going to Siren Rock. You don't really want to go to Siren Rock. It got that name for a reason.
Yeah. Yes. Some, unfortunately haunting melodies coming from over there.
And the occasional trapped sailor. You
I
might
do
even
wanna
meet one when you get to playing it.
I do want to actually get, like some ethereal singing going on around there.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah.
Should we swim on over to the Cora docks? From there, we can have a little mosey around the island of Kespar, and maybe check out some of our coral reefs while we're there.
Thank you again, Anonymous, for another 25 to bring us to 375.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we're doing amazing on this donation.
That is
Thank you all
fantastic.
so much.
You guys are going to get a lot of extra sneak peeks today, huh? So yeah, you can see that as far as the sort of, area goes, this little vertical slice, we are making very good progress. That's not to say we're finished. That's not to say there's not a hell of a lot of work ahead of us still, But, we're definitely getting a hell of a lot done.
Yeah, I mean, these things take a lot of work. I mean, we have all of these NPCs, a bunch of them have quests now. You can talk to everyone.
Absolutely. We could talk to anyone here, and they would have something to say, something for us to do. There's a hell of a lot in game right now. Any of these houses we can go into? Speaking of, do you want to pop into a little house? Show people what we've been working on here?
I don't think I've looked at the Dockmaster's house.
This is something we've gotten done recently, is just the interiors for our sort of crown homes, these sort of little farmhouses, I suppose. They're
Got a nice crib.
Very small, very cozy, and then, quite lovely.
Ignore the clutter floating everywhere, that's just Skyrim together. It just loves to do that for whatever reason, but yeah. Really cozy homes. I like the idea that the Abyshian outside is so, rainy and hot, and it can be sort of oppressive sometimes, but all the people's huts are very cozy.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We have correctly ticked boxes in all the clutter that says don't float, but they're kind of floating around in Skyrim together, so...
And thank you very much, Landland, for $55 to bring us to 430.
Oh. We're getting close to Fairtree.
Oh wow, we really are. I'm seeing someone saying Strosmakai Island is going to be in the pre-release. Yes, it is.
Yep.
We unfortunately will not be showing any of Strosmakai today. That's not to say we don't have any Strosmakai to show, though. In fact, very recently, we have been plowing through progress on Strosmakai. It is incredible to see it come together, because unlike these sort of arid, semi-tropical islands, Strosmakai is a full tropical sort of Caribbean paradise. It is marvelous to explore. Big tropical beaches, dense jungle. There's a lot that we plan on hiding in Strosmakai, and we really can't wait to sort of show it to you guys.
Speaking of, the chain is a nice little transitionary biome between...
It is, yes.
Yeah.
I see someone asking Strosmakai is a big town. Yes, so we have the city of Port Hunding, which is sort of the city that this whole area that we're walking around is part of the region of, essentially. Like how Bruma has all of the forests in the south, this is considered the outskirts of Port Hunding's region of influence.
I'm just over at Hunding's Vale, which I showed off in our showcase.
Oh, am I? Yeah, I was thinking this is the. This looks a bit familiar from the showcase, doesn't it? Now we can sort of head upstairs and show people the full sort of extent of it. And what we did show in the showcase is that very recently we've also been getting the interior models made for the Yoku Ruins.
Yep, none of those are in-game yet, but we're getting very close.
Well, they're not in-game for you.
Oh yeah,
they're
in-game for you, yeah.
I've been playing around with the set. When we say recently, we mean, I think when we started editing together the showcase, work hadn't begun on the interiors yet. They sort of began work during the editing of the showcase.
Huh. I know you wanted to go around and delete a bunch of jelly waves. I don't, I
think more have been added. So, yeah, what you'll notice is that these these Skyrim waves...
We affectionately call them jelly waves.
Yeah, they're basically set to blend in with Skyrim's water type. They're an individual model that gets placed down. So if they're set to use Skyrim's water type, it sort of means they're not set to use the current water type we have. Now if we head to this sort of little island outcropping on the south here, I don't know where you are.
I'm just up on the ridge there, so...
Those jelly waves are saltwater taffy flavored,
Oh,
right?
wait. I see. If you can see me jumping, head over to me.
Where are you? You're probably over
Look
here?
to your left a bit. Out in the ocean.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, head over here. We can show everybody the
My goodness.
funky little...
Search and rescue out here is so difficult.
I know. Are we planning on showing High Rock in this stream? Yes, we are. I mean, this isn't so much... well, this wasn't really planned as a big showcase stream. It's just sort of messing around in Skyrim together and, yeah, wandering about.
And having a talk with y'all. You know, if you enjoy this, I am totally willing to host some more of these.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do these as a more regular thing, maybe with the full team aboard.
Yeah, because
Maybe
we
see if
do
Beyond
internal
Skyrim
streams all the
projects
time.
Yeah, maybe see if more Beyond Skyrim projects are sort of up for it. If we have a little swim south here, we can have a little nighttime look at these coral reefs. I don't know how well they'll show on YouTube with the bitrate, though. That's the question.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because noise, which happens underwater, can really mess things up, but I'm just going to try and be...
slowly, it might look good.
Yeah, I'm going to try and be very still, so that you can see some of these assets.
If you're having trouble seeing it, make sure you set yourself to 1440p.
Yeah, if you can handle that resolution. Also, I'm drowning. Okay.
Yeah, Olivia asked earlier what sort of stuff's going to be underwater. I was going to say death and drowning is very, very common.
Oh, but also we have quite a few shipwrecks underwater. There's even a quest that will send you to various shipwrecks.
Tell you what, if you follow me, I can show you to a certain type of ruin that we have underwater as well.
Oh yeah, you want to show that off? Where are you going?
There's one of them near here. I saw that there's a very big one,
there you are.
but I don't know where it is. So these coral reefs are home to some, I suppose, less savory characters. Not slowed, but something else that lives underwater that maybe doesn't want to be friends with you. And they have a few sort of ruins spread around.
Hagfish.
Exactly. Mud crabs. They have huge... we'll find
switched into the
mud crab handles.
into the Skyrim water.
And thank you, Anonymous, for 60 to bring us to an even 500.
There we go.
Well,
all right.
There we go. You guys
Looks like
are
we're showing off
Fairtree.
Fairtree.
Fairtree today, eh?
Y'all are
Fairtree
doing amazing. Thank you all so much.
We've got 15 minutes.
All right.
Do we?
We can go a little longer on this guy, but
all right.
Let's
it's approximate
head
times.
to... I suppose we had, this sort of slot was booked for both the donation goals and Beyond Skyrim together. So
Yeah, this
True.
if we enable all our map markers and head to Ratface Refuge on the smallest island of the chain,
yeah.
we can have a little wander around the chain. Now, we haven't shown any gameplay yet of the chain because it's not 100% finished. But I can say it's finished enough to be looking pretty good.
It is looking pretty good. I mean, again, we have all these pirates around. Not as much writing for here. We are about to start that because there is a small settlement on the chain.
Yes,
But,
and here, I suppose, is where we can talk about the funky little character we have in Axel Cove. So we have this sort of pirate and necromancer hideout where, they live in this sort of huge cove on the chain, sort of lay low from the law, where they're not really known about. But all that relies on one individual figure to provide them this refuge for a cost. I'll let you talk about him a bit, Arcane.
Yeah, I mean, should we just say what our plans are? Because,
yeah, why not?
yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah, I mean, come on. I absolutely want to write a slowed. Let's go. It is probably going to be a fairly limited character, just because we don't have too much animation capabilities currently. But
Yeah.
I am so ready to write a hyper-capitalist mind flayer, which is basically what Slodes are.
So yeah, we're going to have this Slode who is a sort of very Jabba the Hutt-esque figure, even to the point of maybe being a bit too fat and bloated to really get up and walk around. You'll see him sort of sitting on his throne and having unique ways of keeping tabs on the people.
He's going to be
I
sort
feel
of
called out.
a crime boss of the pirate island.
Precisely, yeah, and he has something to gain from it all. We plan some fun things like
Slodes love souls.
Oh, absolutely. It's the one thing they can't get enough of. Yeah, there's fun stuff we plan, like having him use sort of puppeted dead bodies to sort of keep tabs on the settlement. So the guards are basically, puppeted bodies that the Slode are using. Sort of keeping check on everyone, making sure everyone's paying their dues to be there, which I think will lead to some very fun scenes.
And Oddswill, for you and anyone else who has joined recently and doesn't know what we're looking at, this is Beyond Skyrim Together, where we are using Iliac Bay to showcase what Skyrim Together is capable of.
Currently, we are wandering around the islands of the chain, and at least I do. I have a very clear sunny day here.
Yep, I also do.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, the palm
Sort of
trees,
full
just
scope of
fantastic.
everything. I don't know if you're getting the tropical water here, but
Oh, yeah.
fantastic.
Well, I was, and then...
Then it stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, the water is not completely set up yet. Yeah. Development. That's what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Have a little peek around this Yoga ruin. What you'll notice with the chain is that we don't really have enemies here for a lot of everything.
Or location names, if you just saw the little location
Chain
name pop up.
401. So, a lot of these are things that kind of get hammered out in writing later.
Mhm.
So we have this Yoku ruin, and we don't really know what we want to do with it quest-wise yet. So we might decide we want it to be occupied by pirates or bandits or whatever. So for now we just sort of build the ruin itself, and later on we'll sort of add that, I guess, enemy-specific clutter. We could
Honestly,
decide...
for the writing, having level design like this is super helpful, because a lot of times as a writer, you're kind of asked to come up with a story out of nothing. It's like, oh yeah, you make a quest for this Yoku ruin that's on a little island. Okay, what's Is there any lore about it? No. And so
Yeah.
when you walk through as a writer and see, oh, well, this level designer had this little idea, there's a bit of clutter here, I can work with this, and it just gets those juices flowing.
Yeah, it's good. Sort of, it's the way that every department kind of comes together to do something.
And for some people, the ruins just being empty, it just means that they will be left alone with their thoughts, which for a lot of people these days is the greatest horror of them all.
Exactly, yeah. You can really work in some true horror there. Right, so we're about to head to the biggest of the 3 islands of the chain. We're really giving you guys a full walkthrough. So the chain, it's not a huge area. Like we say, the, I guess, settlement there is a very small one. The sort of focus is on Strathmakai as the nearby city. So, you'll pick up quests from Port Hunding, and they will take you all throughout the Abyssinian Isles.
And if anyone's played the Chains of Time mod, which we did, actually internally played a bit of that mod. Of course, very different interpretation of the chain, but
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I think you'll see in High Rock as well when we get to sort of Evermore or wherever. Is that we're going for a very different fight compared to say
Beyond Reach.
Yeah, Beyond Reach. We're going for something very different. And I do love Beyond Reach. It is fantastic, but we're because we're doing all of High Rock, sort of everything is gonna have this very kind of.
It's more important for us that everything. Yeah, it's more important for us that everything feels cohesive to the rest of our mod.
We have a quick look at Axel Cove here.
Yeah, this is Axel Cove. This is where the interior of this is where our main settlement is going to be.
I see someone asking if we can see the Adamantine Tower. Well, you see the Adamantine Tower right now is a bunch of white developer boxes.
I think you can actually see it from here. Okay, wait.
Yeah. So
real quick.
I think you can from Hearn.
The issue with the Adamantine Tower is you can't really see it properly from anywhere in our pre-release. So we sort of haven't designed it yet, and we probably won't for our pre-release, to be perfectly honest with you. It is, it's just not really our goal at the moment.
It's a pretty big feat to design.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just any tower will do, so...
Will Adamantine Tower resemble the ESO, Daggerfall, or Oblivion depictions? We'll probably take... I mean, the plan currently is to take a little bit of inspiration from, the appearance of White Gold Tower, but do something different. What real-life cultures do you get inspiration from? A range. Same as like the Nords have a quite a sort of mixture of cultures in there. So what we're doing with Hammerfell is, Red Guards are kind of this. They feel very sort of that 90s era of fantasy, where you sort of sprinkle in. You have the darker skinned people who inexplicably have a bunch of Japanese influence in there.
Yeah, that's the weird part that I love about Yokudans.
We're sort of driving that the Crowns and Forebears are very different cultures. And, hopefully when we get to sort of making all of the NPCs, we can sort of drive the sort of visual differences between them. And, there's a lot of sort of West African and Malian influence in the way we're doing the Crowns. And Forebears will generally be a sort of a spread of North African culture. We hope to get a lot of... say one of our cities, we want to look like a very Moroccan kind of Casbah fortified city. We really want to get sort of a good mixture of cultures in a way that's still very respectful. I think most importantly.
Yeah, we're not trying to emulate any one culture
exactly
too much to the point where it becomes like a parody. You know, we're trying to take bits that we like and make this little fantasy culture that feels sort of genuine in its own way.
Right. Now, I think people wanted to have a little look at Fairtree.
Yeah, let's go.
We're all happy with what we've seen of the chain.
Absolutely. Now I'm just gonna skirt above everything. Oh no. Uh-oh. Alright, well, slight reveal there. Hi everyone. There's Normar in the middle of the sea. We don't know why that's happening.
Oh yeah, Norma. Oh yeah.
I don't know why that is.
It's like everything we saw earlier with all of the items just sort of drifting off to the side. That's what they're...
Stuff just happens sometimes.
Let's just pop into Fairtree itself. So Fairtree is an interesting one because it is not in Three Kingdoms. It is, however, fully visible from Three Kingdoms. It is sort of just along the coast from Faran, and it's a location that is probably going to be kind of a port of call for a while in a quest line. So we want to sort of get the visuals of this sort of less eastern, high rock sort of Breton town done, and I think we've done a pretty nice job of it.
Yeah, as a
Noob Mentor, who's here with us, is the level designer for it.
Yes. It's a pretty fun little town to make. And I think everything has collision at this point, at least the important stuff, so that's also pretty good.
And so our 3K area will be just around the bay over here. I think it'll cut off somewhere around there, not that you can really see where I'm looking. But over there is Farron, where I'm pointing.
Yeah, somewhere along the coast. You can kind of see the lighthouse sticking up a bit.
Yeah.
You can, yeah.
Now, I don't know why we're snowing here, because this biome is called the Malekna Forest. This is the same biome that bleeds into Faran a little bit, so we are right along the coast.
I don't think we've properly set up the weather for this area.
No,
yeah,
I don't think.
I think it accidentally takes like the northern coast weather and applies it here.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
a bit of an accident.
It hasn't been a focus quite yet. You know, this is more for the distant views.
Exactly, yeah. So you have this more sort of temperate forest and this area that's a bit more sort of quintessentially high rock compared to the sort of rugged and quite harsh east. Because, you know, you'll see in Faran is it's this very rough sort of landscape, very poverty-stricken towns and cities. It's not the nicest of places.
But feel free to go there. They need your money.
They do, to be fair, yeah.
Those
I mean, what with the
tourism
plague going on
dollars.
and everything, yeah. We won't be showing Faran the city today because it's very, very heavily in development. We are still working on the architecture for the city. You know, most of the floor is still using, you know, the little square floor in Helgen that you almost get executed on. We've just sort of used that to be a muddy, half-paved floor for Faran for now. You know, there's a lot about the city that is so early in development that it's just sort of
Yeah, I
not
remember
necessarily worth showing at the moment.
I had a couple
It's a
more
mess.
shots of Farron in the showcase initially, and then we decided that it wasn't. We could replace it. It wasn't looking quite good enough. So yeah,
Exactly.
like the shots that I showed are pretty much the most put together shots of Farron currently.
I do wish the weather was a little bit nicer, then we could sort of take in this lovely little forest that we're walking through. But
Oh, yeah, here I'm just gonna stop so the YouTube compression maybe doesn't make this look so terrible.
Did console commands work in Skyrim Together or not for weather?
they
not
do
for the
not.
weather.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, because we're playing with Skyrim Together, unfortunately, we cannot really clear the weather. we're slightly stuck with it, which I know is a pain. Maybe if we head on, well, we'll have a little wander around. We'll maybe head to the crypt, just north of Fairtree. But I think if we head to somewhere in Faran or Johanna, maybe have a little wander around Tolburn Woods or sort of southern Faran.
And they're asking,
and you can
what about the clear eyes shout? Clear skies shout. Unintentional product placement.
clear eyes.
This guy's shout
Would
could
that
work.
Let's see, can I give myself that shout? I don't actually. Is it player.add shout? Oh wait, I'll need to. Oh.
Fusro Herpeder.
Let me have a.
Fusro, stop snowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll just head to throw the. We'll just play the Skyrim main quest real quick and get to the point. Where we
Just really. Yeah.
Quickest solution.
I'm not seeing.
Shout.
I think adding shouts is not the easiest thing to do, unfortunately.
It is.
Yeah, console. Giving yourself shouts in the console is can be a little tricky.
Happy New Hour, everyone. Unless you're in India, because then they're half an hour off from everybody else.
Okay, set myself some.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Where the fuck? Where is Clear Skies? I could do Storm Call, see if that helps.
Just say it backwards.
Probably still has more visual than snow.
Oh, there's the crypt. Salt Breeze Cemetery. I don't think I've seen that location name before. That's cute. I like that.
I'm trying this now. CD1.
We're at a crypt clutter.
They're like little babushka though.
Wow, okay.
What?
Who set this up?
Oh, you seeing the little
I did,
skeletons?
The skeletons. Oh, that's great.
Oh, I think Clear Skies worked.
Hey, it did.
Whoever said to do that.
Hey.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
That has actually worked phenomenally.
This is well for High Rock. This is perfect because I think it probably just defaults it to the Skyrim clear weather.
And for those of you who want to go running around killing skeletons, remember you are a skeleton piloting a meat suit as well. So be nice.
Yeah, you're one of these too.
There you go. Yeah, you can see that's about where 3K is going to cut off over there, and then all the rest of that is all 3K.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can see the little block out of the Crypt of Hearts up there.
You can, yes. There's a little block saying Crypt of Hearts is going to go here.
Yep. It's just
where
a black block up there, but
yeah, where the forest kind of ends on the horizon there, that's where Three Kingdoms ends. I mean, the Kingdom of Faran goes a little bit further into the Melekna Woods, but we're not going to be including it in Three Kingdoms just because of the Crypt of Hearts being there and that being a sort of big requirement in terms of custom 3D work.
It is a big job, yeah.
And
really is, yeah.
The Crypt of Hearts is sort of, I guess, Hyrox, not Labyrinthian, what is it, Blackreach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we would rather kind of cut that little portion out, just to kind of help get Three Kingdoms in your guys' hands and playable, just that little bit sooner. Yeah, we can probably, wander through and take in the woods now that it's not awful snowy weather.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep this Clear Skies shout enabled just in case we need it anymore.
That's a good... Yeah, I should keep that around for next time we do these streams. I'll have to set up a character that already has that unlocked.
Yeah, you sort of get to see here what the kind of outskirts of these sort of occasional Breton towns are like, because Fairtree is meant to be this sort of very quintessential, very standard Breton town. You'll see a hell of a lot like it.
Nice little fortified walls. But, it's got 2 banners on it right now.
It
I forget
does,
what that
yeah.
one is for.
It does, yeah. One for the town itself and one for Shornhelm, the city it belongs
that's
to.
it. Yeah, yeah.
We
Nice.
won't be able to show any Shornhelm though today,
Oh
unfortunately.
no, yeah. I
There isn't much Shornhelm, so...
I don't even know if I can still get near it without it crashing, because I think that was also using some Cyrodiil assets.
I think it was, yeah. Do we want to head to...
Yeah, the stream is
I think-
lagging pretty bad right now.
Oh,
So is Skyrim together, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I think people want to see a little bit of around Farron and Johanna, so how about we go to
Sure.
Castle Viridian and head along the road in the Dragonfields
Castle.
to head into Farron. We can have a quick stop at the Halcyon View Inn.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and it doesn't have an interior, so we can stop outside the inn. Stop for one of the drinks that people left on the tables, maybe. Well, let's look at, like, this location is not finished, just
No,
to preface.
not.
We do not even
Yeah.
have the 3D tile set for it finished. So, you know, it's not really a very showable place at
Yeah,
the
the
moment.
castle right now is just sort of a shell.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to
Head
block
along
out.
the road, and we will make our way to Farron. So this biome here is called the Dragonfields. It is sort of the transition into, I guess, Evermore's area from Farron. So right now we are within the Kingdom of Evermore. This is sort of how Evermore's little area is going to look. This sort of
Yeah.
rugged grassland kind of vibe.
Over here you can see Lake Halcyon, which is at the center of this section of the Dragonfields.
Yeah, so we brought in Lake Halcyon from Yeso, I think it's in.
Yeah. It establishes
And
that
it's,
a sort of a source of the Buellsay.
Hmm.
So
This is very
yeah, we can
central
have it as well.
location. And the mountain
It's-
valley to the sort of southeast is how you go towards Dragonstar. And this whole area is very sort of steeped in the, I guess, sort of Tez Shadowkey kind of world building, all of that.
Shadowkey.
And we do plan on, you know, Shadowkey stuff.
Oh yeah,
Playing a
Shadow
fairly-
Magic.
Yeah, it'll be a fairly big thing.
I mentioned Lappen's Stronghold and Gas Pass in the showcase. We have quite a few locations returning from Shadowkey.
The big blockout castle you can see there as well is, I think it's Broken Wing Citadel.
Oh, is that what? Oh, it's sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I have a quick
Yeah, I'm
look at a couple
excited
of
to see
questions
that. It's
and
good.
see if I can answer. Will we see any creatures or monsters from Redguard make a comeback? I'm not
You know what?
sure,
I'm gonna,
to be honest
I'm
with you.
gonna take
I don't
a
know
few real
what-
quick while you answer some questions, and I'm gonna head to the bathroom real quick.
Fair enough. I was going to say, I don't really know what creatures Elder Scrolls Redguard even had, to be
Think
quite
it-
honest with you.
I think
I'm
most of
not
it were
sure,
actually
yeah.
creatures that are already, like that have already returned in other games.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna
I
say,
imagine
I know
we'll
it
have most
has
of it.
the... Yeah, I know it's got the sort of Dwemer automatons, which naturally we will be having Dwemer ruins all over Hammerfell, so they'll be returning. We have a few
Goblins
sort of
will be
references-
returning.
Yeah, we have quite a few references to Redguard in. We have the little, I guess, sort of all of the world building, basically. We have, you know, stuff like the little teleport pads that use the Cana bird feathers. Whether or not they'll be usable, though, is an entirely different question. You know, question: will there be mosquitoes in?
Just about to
Hammerfell?
ask that.
Yes, we do. In fact, they are... You know how you can pick up dragonflies in Skyrim and eat them and use them for brewing potions? You can do the same with the mosquitoes.
I was gonna say, like, it's not a question of will, it's they already are.
Yeah, we already have them in game. We have mosquitoes as well in this. No, mosquitoes as well. Hornets as well, and a variety of scarab beetles that you can pick from the air and just immediately eat. Unless there's going to be a slode, there is going to be a slode. Yeah, we have a slode. We were speaking about him earlier. He'll be on the chain. He'll be sort of ruling over a little pirate shanty town called Axel Cove, and you know, we'll show some of that later on. Well, not later on today, but yeah, down the road from now a bit.
All right.
And the major waterway is large enough that modders could make a sailing mod actually fit.
Oh, through the Iliac Bay? Absolutely.
Through the bay, yes. To cities, probably
harder.
No. Just because of the verticality. So unless those boats can start going up waterfalls, no. But you could sail to Wayrest, you could sail to Daggerfall, you could sail to Sentinel. Any coastal city, the waterways will be wide enough to sail into them.
There you are.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, the Buellsee is way too vertical. Some rivers in Hammerfell you might be able to sail into for a while, but I don't think you can reach any major city that way.
Will Camlorn be in the Callan Forest? Probably not. It's a long way from now. We haven't begun any level design around there, but it's probably going to be on sort of a clearing from the forest. It'll be near forest. There'll be forest near Camlorn, because Camlorn's going for this very... The aesthetic of Camlorn currently is going to be this very... Oh, you see a red line here. Here's where Three Kingdoms ends.
Yep.
This red line,
nice old
this
vertex
is where
paint.
you won't be able to go. Which
I do
means
feel
that,
bad for...
unfortunately-
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Halcyon view in and the view of Halcyon will be just out of reach in Three Kingdoms.
It's gonna be such a horrible tease. Like, you can just about see the inn from here. I actually feel really guilty about that. I'm so sorry.
I mean, people can turn borders off, you know.
True, yeah.
Quickly
They
answer
really
your-
want to go
Give me
there.
away for Bruma, yeah.
To quickly answer your question, Jacek, yes, many teams do share developers between projects. It happens quite often.
I see someone asking if we will have Aldneri Dominion ships. That's a tough one to answer. I'm going to lean on probably not, unfortunately. Just because the workload on making so these sort of custom Altmer-looking ships is just a little bit more than we can justify as a team for the occasional shipwreck. As far as sort of 3D requirements, it's one of those things where it's sort of nice to have as maybe a stretch goal, but at the same time it's quite a bit too much work for, you know, sort of occasional shipwrecks underwater.
Patrick asks how long this has been going. If you mean this particular stream, about an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes or so. If you mean the projects themselves, they've been going since 2015, 2016 maybe? I think.
Well, apparently,
Iliac Bay is harder to track that way because it was several projects that then got merged, and I don't know. At this point, many of us working on it were not really around when things were merged even.
I'm seeing someone say we got cut off when talking about the mosquitoes. So yes, mosquitoes will be in game. You can pick them up and eat them to your heart's content.
Yep.
As well as hornets and scarab beetles for Hammerfell.
I'm so glad you can eat them. Such
You can
an
make
essential
poisons out
feature.
of them even.
I'm pretty sure they hurt you. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure if you eat a mosquito, it just deals damage to you.
What if you're a vampire?
To be fair, I mean, you're getting that second-hand blood from a mosquito. I can't imagine that's very nice. I mean, if you are a vampire. Sort of the vampire equivalent of pre-chewed food.
Oh, we're
Yes,
coming up
crunchy.
here on Karthgrin, which we
We
showed
are
off a
coming up
little
on
bit
Karthgrin.
of
Yeah.
a couple of years ago.
And this area hasn't really changed much lately. I mean, there are a few sort of issues we're aware of and things we know we need to tweak that are just kind of going to wait on a more thorough second pass of the region later on. In truth, Faran is, like we said earlier, we're sort of, a lot of our attention internally is going towards this vertical slice area on the islands, which is why we have shown so damn much of it over the years. You know, it's where our focus has been, and that sort of process of, as a team, figuring out and learning to really, get something done is very informative, and will hopefully mean that we can get places like this done in a fraction of the time it's taking the Isles.
It's definitely been an exercise in focus as a team, because previously I know there was a lot of development on Iliac Bay that happened in, kind of scattershot areas. And
I'm seeing
finally...
someone ask us to show Orsinium. I'm just going to say, you don't want to see Orsinium. It is blank landscape right now. There is nothing to see.
Nothing there.
And it should be made clear that orc children don't need pre-chewed food, because we don't do that. So.
Is Karthgran on the coast? No, it is far from the coast.
Nope,
You can
there's
see the coast
plenty-
in the distance.
Yeah, plenty of land.
It's one of my favorite
between-
things about Faran is you can see it in the distance for a very, very long time before you get there. In fact, I think when we get to Faran is probably we're going to close off for the day, I reckon.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have LOD for Faran, so you can't really see it in the distance.
No, you can kind of see.
Yeah, that'll be at a later stage.
Yeah.
Because the architecture for it isn't totally done yet.
Yeah, Faran is not really in a state where we can show it. I mean, we can maybe give a little sneak peek at right inside the gate, but...
I think right inside the gate is showable, but that's about it.
I guarantee if we show it, you will probably all be a little bit disappointed, because early in development stuff doesn't look good. In fact, it normally doesn't look good until quite late in development, really. So even if we had all the architecture in, let's say we finished the Faran architecture, the ledges inside the city and the fences inside the city would still be placeholders, and they would make the whole thing, frankly, look a bit naff. Things look good in the sort of final stages. Which is why I think, modding like this is sort of, it's inherently hard to do showcases for, because most of it doesn't really look good yet. Most of what we work on still looks unfinished. It still looks very rough around the edges, and we show it with the knowledge that it is rough around the edges. We show it knowing that this isn't final, it's going to change, we want it to change. But obviously, when it's shown, it sort of gives the appearance of like, oh, we're showing this as if it's final, but we know it's not.
Yeah. That's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, is because, if anything has been a theme of this year's Creation ModCon, it's that, modding is it's scuffed, it's not perfect all the time, and that's also kind of what's fun about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's there's it's when it all comes together that it's incredibly fun to work on when it all comes together in the end.
Which is a good point to ask the question that came in: what made you personally join this particular project?
Oof. I joined Iliac Bay many years ago. It was, I think, shortly after Bruma, and it was sort of seeing this range of landscapes and different styles and different cultures and this very rugged European area, like if Oblivion was made with the tone of Skyrim, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like medieval fantasy, but with a more rugged and rough approach compared to sort of how lovely and nice it all was in Oblivion. That sort of appealed to me a lot. And I think that's what sort of drove me towards Iliac Bay and sort of working on High Rock specifically. And then while I worked on Iliac Bay, I found that Hammerfell was just as fun as well to work on.
I've kind of had the opposite arc. I came in around 2020 during the pandemic and really joined because I love Hammerfell and I love the lore behind it and all the interesting little tidbits. And as we've been developing High Rock, I've been like, oh, you know what, this is... It's not as generic fantasy as, you know, I first thought. And it's fun to find those, like, those bits of engagement in the areas that you didn't initially think you would have.
I really just joined because I saw that, like, images of all the cool cities in both Hammerfell and High Rock. And I was like, yes, I want to help finish this. This is cool.
So we are in the little foreign outskirts. You can sort of see the early work we've done on the houses, like in these little buildings here.
I think
they sort of give you a little glimpse into the middle class, sort of like common foreign houses.
I think this was even the house that I used for the showcase. And yes, it's
Oh,
called
well, there we
Gar's
go.
Fields, which is a wonderful new Momentum special.
Yes, if you do join Iliac Bay, or even, you know, whether that's directly or maybe after a bit of time in the old Arcane University, who knows, you will realize how many very dumb shitposts make their way in game.
It's
normally
our
from
development build is just full of little jokes, and it's so much
And
fun.
I think we passed the Emperor in game on the road here while getting our way here.
Yeah.
And the video, our little showcase, kind of highlighted it. Now, do we intend on releasing with these Easter eggs? No.
No.
We will try and catch them and get rid of them.
It's good training for quality assurance.
Exactly, yeah. It keeps our quality assurance folks on their toes, if nothing else.
And I have joked
So,
about, like, once we put something out, doing an extra plug-in of, like, Iliac Bay but Wild Wasteland, which I think would be kind of
Throw a
fun.
little weird shit. So we'll just pop here, have a quick little gander at the city, but we won't show any more than this, because even here, the cracks start to form, and you see how
Yeah, you can.
unfinished
I just turned a little bit too far to the left, and you can see the white boxing and the things that aren't quite
gaps
finished.
in the holes. But this little street
Yeah.
here looks pretty good.
But this, yeah, looks lovely.
It's very empty, but still pretty cool.
If you stand exactly where I'm standing and look down the street towards the blacksmith, it looks pretty good.
And I love
barring the fact that it needs a hell of a lot more clutter. It needs like dead bushes, it needs barrels and crates. And
Oh yeah, we gotta get like some knocked over carts and stuff like that.
Right. I'm going to say we have shown quite a lot of High Rock today, and quite a lot of Hammerfell. And, yeah, I think coming here was sort of a good insight, I suppose, as to, like, here's what it looks like when it's still in development. And the answer is a kind of plain and simple, not very good, as it turns out. It looks very unfinished. It looks like there's a hell of a lot left to do. So,
But that's kind of the fun part about getting to work on it, is, you know, you get to see these things and go, oh, I fixed that. Let's do it.
yeah, exactly. And I think people want to see Johanna. Should we very, very quickly...
I was going to say,
pop into
Alexander's been
Johanna?
asking to see Johanna for.
Tell you
Okay,
what,
we'll
yeah.
very quickly pop into Johanna.
Should we pop into Johanna Farmo 1, and we'll take the dockside entrance up to the city. So you guys get to see the very impressive views of the Johanna docks.
Oh yeah, the great walk up on Johanna is great. And then after this, Skywind is ready to do a stream.
Yes. So we'll hurry up and let Skywind do their thing. Don't worry.
Yeah. We know.
I know
people
that
wanna
slot.
see Skyrim.
Their slot isn't for another half hour, is it?
Not technically, but we've gotten through all of the donations, and I've let them know. So
Okay, fair enough.
It should be ready.
I think my game has crashed, so you
Yay!
will have to.
First
you're gonna
crash
have
of
to
the
show
stream.
them Johanna yourself.
Oh, I already crashed twice. Don't worry.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
never
I was
mind.
gonna say, we got through an hour and a half of testing our incredibly unfinished build on a mod that is not designed to be like Skyrim Together is not designed for us to use beyond Skyrim.
No.
So the fact it took this long for a crash, believe me, that's impressive. Anyway, if you guys, I guess, head up to the city, head up to the docks, and make your way up into the city and show people a quick look, then we'll be done.
Y'all could probably even see when I fired Skyrim Together that it was like, oh, don't have anything else enabled besides the basic stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to say I'm glad you guys sort of, those of you who stuck around to have a quick look at this, I'm glad you sort of came along. I'm glad we were able to show you this kind of internal look at Iliac Bay, at the progress we're making, and you know,
the docks.
And we are
guess
extremely grateful for all the donations that you guys have made.
Incredibly.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You guys have done a fantastic job. I mean, it's all going to a fantastic cause, and I'm so thankful that you guys have done your bit to help.
Thank you all so much. Yeah.
And I'm glad we were able to show you guys this sort of look into how the sausage gets made and sort of how it all comes together. And I apologize a little bit for how rough around the edges it all is. The roughness of the whole live stream nature of it all.
But it's live theater.
Do the sausages from Johanna, do they have fennel in them? I'm curious.
Maybe.
Got a little
We'll
like
have to consider
black
that.
licorice taste.
Mhm.
Tell you what, as far as assets I want to get made, is I want to have like, how Skyrim has like hanging like herbs in people's homes. I want to get hanging sausage links for Hierarch. This is not a joke. This is an actual request for an asset. If any of you guys out there are good at 3D modeling, please lend your hand.
I am a sausage modeling specialist.
If any of you are amazing at modeling sausage links, please, there is a role for you on this team.
And even if you're not, we have plenty of other 3D claims open, so please.
And you can probably learn how to do the sausage, because we do teach you how to do donuts. You 3D model donuts and stuff with little sprinkles on them.
Yeah.
Right. So once you can then start to freeform the application of that talent to making sausages, then who knows, perhaps you can get a job with Oscar Mayer, rendering their commercials or whatever.
Then you'll really know how the sausage gets made.
Absolutely.
So I hope you guys have all sort of enjoyed this showcase as it's sort of winding up to our last little spot.
Yep, I'm just
and
getting
I am going to end on a very predictable request. If you have the skills to help out, please do, because all of this comes together when just a few interested people see that they can help out and do their bit. You never know how quickly things can come together when someone dedicated and someone passionate joins and gives their time to help us. It really makes it all come together, and it speeds up the process so much.
And to further push that, if you don't have the skills but you want to learn them, you can go to the Arcane University and we can teach you.
You'd be surprised at how quickly you can get skills to be very useful to one of these projects.
Yeah, if you have any skills, or if you have any interest, you would be surprised at how quick it is to learn, or how easy a certain thing might be. Something that seems unapproachable, within a few months, maybe within a year, might just seem like second nature. It just seems, when I joined, I was an awful level designer.
I was so afraid to touch the creation kit, because I joined as a writer, and in the last, 3 months or so, I've just been firing out implementing quests, and I love it.
Exactly.
It went from something that I absolutely dreaded to, like, now I genuinely enjoy it.
Yeah, it's you even pick up skills that you don't initially think that they're going to be your thing.
Which kind of touches on Richard May's question there. Yes, you can absolutely pick up basic skills that you could learn to potentially help, because you might get into something and not even realize that it's something that you want to learn, and it's not until you're exposed to it that you're like, wait a minute, that's kind of interesting, maybe I'll look into that, and then you discover a new passion you never knew you had.
And the Arcane University actually works really well for that as a sort of continuing learning. Because a lot of us end up, we join as one thing and then we get the inkling to do something else, and you end up going back to the Arcane University and saying, hey, help me learn how to do this other thing so I can help more.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
if you guys are interested in helping us out in any way, please do. Because these projects just are not possible without the people that come together, the people that join the teams, and spend their free time working on this as a hobby, like we all do. We all are here. It's incredibly fun to work on. We have so much. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't really enjoy it.
And it's a lot of fun,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Can't stress that bit enough.
With that, I believe Skywind is ready.
Yeah, okay. And so even if you don't necessarily, feel the need to join the Arcane University, you might know somebody who would. So spread the word as well.
Yeah, really do. Thank you all so much for joining us, and Skywind is up next. So let me just get back over to OBS here.
Yeah, we'll hand you guys off to the amazing Skywind team and all the... I can't get over how cool the stuff they do is. Every time I see their showcases,
They're
I am in
fantastic.
awe.
And
So
Garfield
good,
and
yeah.
Nuga, thank you for joining me on, doing a little bit of a public stream this time.
Yeah, cheers. It was very
Yeah.
fun. We might have to consider doing something like this again.
I'm here for
I'd
it.
be down.
Testing, testing. Were we not getting audio a moment ago? Ah, fantastic. Well, this serves as... there we go. I believe our audio should actually be working now. Can people in chat confirm they can hear us? Fantastic. Well, this is a perfect opportunity to do our introductions again, which is fantastic. I get to say my name twice. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Skywind 2024 ModCon presentation. I am Newton's Fourth. I am a lead on the Skywind team. I help run the file cutting department, which, in case you don't know, is essentially a audio processing job to help with our voice acting team. But my primary role is as a level designer. Been on the team for 4.5, nearing on 5 years now, and I am a Morrowind super nerd. Happy to be here with you all, and thanks for tuning in. I've got 2 other people joining me, so without any further ado, would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yes, hello. My name is Marco. I am a recent addition to the Skywind team. I am also a part of the level design / landscaping team, so I've been working on recent sales and additions to the world of Morrowind. I will also be handling Q&A today, so if you have any questions, please send them through the Twitch chat so I can start collecting them, and whenever we have downtime or any other time to just discuss, and I can ask questions, you can ask them towards us, the devs, or just the general Morrowind questions about the game. I'd also quickly like to add, if you have the time or consideration, please consider donating to Doctors Without Borders. Even $1 goes to like some extra bit of gauze or bandages to a bunch of refugees and people in need all over the world, and help your fellow man out. And if you want to contribute, we also highly recommend looking at the devlog video we posted on our channel, and also checking out the Skywind website. We have always a massive desire for more people to come in and work with us. And yeah, thank you very much. Newton?
All right. Well, I believe we have one more.
Yes, I've been waiting for Marco. Hello, I'm Overseer, and I've been on the team for over 3 years now. I've been handling mostly level design stuff, including a lot of exterior work, which you're gonna see today. This is a bit of a foreshadowing, and also some other things that you're gonna see today. And I'm very happy to be here with you all. Hello.
All right. Well, assuming we don't have any other issues with the stream, given that we had a brief hiccup with our audio, I think we can get going. All right. So we've scripted out a bit of a route for you all to show a few locations we're particularly proud of, and have also been done recently, just to show off some of our more new level design. So, starting off, there's a lot of holes in the wall in Morrowind, aren't there?
Yeah, they all suspiciously have doors.
Yeah. There's kind of just things all over the place. I believe Morrowind has more density of dungeons than any other Elder Scrolls game. Unless you want to start talking about that.
Yes.
But its map is slightly smaller, but it's filled with stuff.
It's kind of the interesting thing that despite Morrowind being only like 2/3 of Skyrim's map in size, it has about the same amount, the same amount of dungeons.
Yeah, Morrowind's map, we'll get into this a little bit more later, but Morrowind's map, in terms of its exterior, had some pretty cool tricks to make that world feel bigger. Once we actually check out the exterior, we'll show that off. But for now, I believe we have a dungeon we need to check out.
What can you tell us about this dungeon, Newton?
Well, I can point out one thing that many of you have probably noticed, which is that I'm currently holding a sword underwater, which if you've played Skyrim...
Water combat.
Yes, we do have underwater combat. I should probably cast water breathing as well, so I don't die.
Casting spells underwater is such an amazing addition, and also limpets that react to you.
Oh yeah, let me show some of these off. Just a lot of things to make the world feel more interactive. Underwater combat.
I'm afraid of you.
Yeah, underwater combat was something that I enjoyed a lot in Morrowind, especially just the grotto style of dungeon, and I'm very glad that we were able to bring it back. Oh god, combat music.
It just expands our... Oh, a Drew.
I don't know, I think it's Dreg? Maybe? See, this is why...
I don't know.
This is why we have a whole team for voice acting.
You know, it is the same case as with the Kim or Chim. There are so many different ways to pronounce it.
We're in front of an audience. We're making ourselves look like fools by not knowing how to pronounce our own game. It's perfect.
Listen, Morrowind didn't have a lot of audio. We are excused.
Yeah. This is why we have a pronunciation guide.
Everyone has their own pronunciation. It's what makes the experience more intimate, I guess, you know?
When I was a kid, I thought that Nesis was pronounced Genesis, and I just kept calling it Genesis for some reason. I don't know why.
Calling it that until right now.
Okay.
So thanks for illuminating me.
Oh god, I'm dying. Okay.
Yeah, all these amazing like SFX, VFX,
yeah.
animations.
Let's show off some of our spells.
Features y'all see.
You have plenty of spells we can show off.
Yeah. So obviously, the main question is where's spellcrafting? In progress is the answer. However, we've kind of done a combination of Morrowind's and other game systems. So we are going to have spellcrafting, where there's this kind of modular system, but we also have some custom spells. Like that. Also, I'm about to die. Don't die on stream.
Yeah, that would be very unfortunate.
So it's this combination of existing things and new ideas that we're kind of blending together to make Skywind unique. Show that off one more time, by the way.
Yeah, and I believe that we are utilizing the Skyrim shout slot for spells that can be cast without... Yeah, I think you could show off like one of the quick weapon enchanting spells that we have going.
Let's get to that when we get our next combat encounter. I think that'd be fun to show off though.
Yeah, all these beautiful visual effects you all see, you wonderful people, all being handcrafted, made, and if you're interested in working on it, we would definitely appreciate.
We need a lot of visual effects.
any NIF scope like wizards that are like hiding in like a deep dungeon, please come out of the woodwork. We are desperate for you.
Yeah, NIFscope is one of those programs which, in case you don't know, for people who are listening and don't have any modding experience, NIFscope is essentially a 3D model editing program, but less Blender-esque, more focused on textures and stuff. It is extraordinarily difficult to use, and there is essentially no online tutorial for how to use it. So we just gotta make do.
So people who are utilizing NIFscope, who know how to use it, and especially create like special effects with it, they are pretty much wizards. I think that's like a spot-on description.
Yeah. Given that we've been talking about this for a bit, I'll show a couple of our other spells. Primarily.
In the meantime, you can also see how we are blending different kinds of locations together. So we were in a cave for a section, then we are back in Daedric Ruins. Morrowind did that quite a lot, didn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of examples of it. The ones that immediately come to mind, honestly, are the ones... There's a few in the Blood Moon DLC, but there's also just a lot of Daedric Ruins that have cave sections in them, really to help emphasize their age. I mean, this is a great example. But the way that Morrowind did that was a little bit clunky. Often it would just have a cave and then a door and then a whole Daedric section, which can look fine, but this more smooth blend where it kind of makes sense, while one is a lot harder to do, also just looks a lot better. Can take a really long time to get something like this to look good, but it really pays off.
Yes, and at the same time, it is a lot more feasible to do it with the assets we have created, because our tileset, for people who are watching, tilesets are like sets of 3D models that can be used to be joined together and create unique locations. It's a lot more flexible, and we have a lot more pieces than Morrowind's tileset. I believe we have, for Vivek, there are like several hundred models, but I might be completely wrong, but I think there's a lot of variety, and flexibility just goes through the roof.
Another thing to point out is this piece you see we're standing in, this is actually not one 3D model. This floor is one 3D model, and the wall is a separate 3D model. That might seem inconsequential, but what this means is we can make a room without a floor, make a room where the floor turns into a cave, make a room where it opens up like this. It really... We just have so many possibilities of what we can do with our tile sets.
Also, a very tall hallway.
A very
Just
tall.
imagine, like, yeah, a very tall.
I believe I've made one of those in one of my dungeons. I think I just stacked 2 hallway sets on top of each other. Looks great. Also...
That's a cute trap.
Well, I don't think it doesn't really look like a trap. It looks like they kind of just pushed the guy in here. Unfortunate. Wouldn't want to be there.
Yeah, I don't think he was a willing subject.
Well, maybe he likes spikes.
I would want to have an exact 0 amount of spikes in me. I don't know why there are so many spike enjoyers in this dungeon, but it's kinda awkward.
They're part of the spike club. They they made
Spike club.
dedicate their lives to the spike. Alright.
You could
Oh my
say
God,
it sharpens.
there are so many
their-
puns.
You could say it sharpens their senses.
Oh my god.
We're
Sharpens their sense
yeah,
of mortality.
they're spike girls.
Well, we're going
Too
to
many
be
puns.
walking to another location. While we're doing that, Marco, could we get a few questions from chat if you have any?
Yes, I do have some. Let me pull those up real quick, but one that I remember seeing right off the bat was comparing Morrowind level design from the original to this project. How's it different in regards to like OG building styles? Have you ever been able to retain any of them?
So this is an interesting question that is a little multi-layered. This will also tie into something we bring up when we go over the exterior level design. Exteriors are pretty one-to-one. The interiors, in general, our floor plans, as you might have noticed from that dungeon, are quite different than the original dungeon. The actual room shapes are not the same, but something that we do a lot of care to keep consistent is making sure the original tent is the same. A good example of this dungeon I worked on when I first went to the plan, but actually the layout of the rooms is nothing alike. But the concept of a tomb filled with dangerous monsters is identical. In the original game, the intent was to make it look like the monsters had come in and trashed the place. While I might have changed around the room order, it's still meant to be a place where it looks like Daedric monsters came in and trashed the place. And it really...
Also another big...
Yeah.
Also another big thing that we had to consider for updating level design spaces was levitation.
Oh, yes. We'll be showing off, well, not levitation, but something quite similar in this next dungeon we're heading to. Yeah, levitation is interesting. Oh, yeah, you have a comment over here?
Yeah, I wanted to say that levitation, as a general, enforces us to do something that they really love, which is detailing every single area, especially so in exteriors. Because in Skyrim, you could get away with having like an empty mountaintop, but in Skywind, it should at least have that basic level of detail or some hidden secrets, loot to be found. So that's a very interesting thing.
Another important note on that is that in a lot of dungeons, especially caves and Daedric ruins, there are levitation-only areas, which are only accessible if you have the levitate or a strong enough jump or acrobatics spell. And that way we're kind of, not just making it a cool way to get around, but genuinely rewarding players for thinking, hey, I wonder what's up there. There's a specific dungeon I made, I remember, where near the end, you can just skip the entire dungeon with levitation if you have it, and just do it in reverse order. I'm certain, Overseer, you've done plenty of similar stuff. You have any examples?
I think right now, I believe the main example would be Telvos, really, as a general, because it requires a lot of levitation to get around. I believe so. I have included a lot more areas that require levitation actually underneath the tower. So in the caves, there's like plenty of sections that necessitate the use of levitation or substantially strong acrobatic skill.
Yeah, if you
I see
have the scroll of a carry and fly.
I see we've made it to a sixth house location, haven't we?
Yeah, so sixth house locations kind of tie into what we were saying earlier about mixing tile sets together. Except in the case of the sixth house, they don't really have rooms or structures in the same way. Like, sixth house wall.
Furniture.
Yeah, they have a lot of... They like stacking chairs. It's kind of interesting to take the limited assets we do have that are sixth house themed and insert them into another set, in this case the cave one, and just see how we can make it look. As a note, I mentioned we'd be showing off a spell here. Let me see. Where is jump? Ah, here we go. Alright. Well, I might flashbang everyone watching by accidentally falling in lava if I mess this up. But let's try to not do that. Ah, there we go. So
So far, so good.
Here's an example of an area which rewards you for having the jump spell. Which, while jump was a thing in Morrowind, it wasn't really that useful except for getting around. And having it for situations like this, or if I wanted to jump in that hole, for instance, can be really useful. And we really try to consider these things to make dungeons that actually encourage unique and intelligent magic use.
So I think this dungeon is a fine example of what you talked about, like interior design sort of fluidity compared to the original Morrowind.
Yeah, this is a pretty different layout than the original. Just a bunch of cave rooms, but still in a different order to make it flow a little bit more smoothly. But obviously, conceptually, it's the same idea. This was a 6th house base in the original, and a small one at that, and therefore it is still a small 6th house base. Oh, I don't know what I got.
I think as a general rule, we just try to realize the characteristics of the location, the look that can be found there, and we just implement it into the new locations. Sometimes it is really necessary to change the layout, because in original game, especially so in Balmora, there was a lot of well, the interiors didn't really match how they looked outside, so you could just walk to the smallest house in the town and you would enter a huge hall inside. So there's a lot of that involved in recreating the locations, making sure that they fit the landscape around them.
Bells.
So do I hear something here? I hear those bells, don't I?
You do. There's we have a lot of sound effects. For 6th house, it's really weird and creepy. In fact,
our sound effect team is amazing.
Also, let me grab a new weapon. I think the sword's a little too blood-covered for my tastes. Or actually, didn't we say we wanted to show off our staff?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is the perfect time, unless I die somehow. So, in Morrowind...
Do you have any potions left?
I have a few. In Morrowind, if you all remember, you can enchant items on use, especially for staves. In Skywind, you can do the same thing, and actually use them. Notably, we have an animation for it, which is very different than Morrowind, where an on-use would just have it come from your hands, because they didn't have anything custom for it. We've really tried to actually make it feel like, you know, the on-use enchantment is an on-use enchantment. Morrowind's enchantment system is so dynamic. I'm really happy we're bringing it back.
Also, just a quick note, we got an anonymous donation for $100.
Oh, wow!
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Anything that
That's
goes
amazing.
toward Doctors Without Borders, that is greatly appreciated. We're so happy to get any donation. So please consider donating if you have the opportunity.
Absolutely.
And also, I think so mentioned if we have a Skyrim concept where there's a choreograph to get back to the start of a dungeon.
Yes. So that is a thing. This is a level design quirk that is in a lot of Skyrim dungeons, and it is in a couple. It is in this dungeon, for instance. But it's something that we essentially try to almost never do, unless it really feels necessary. The Skyrim quick get back to a start of a dungeon is iconic. You know, you push a secret door and all of a sudden you're back at the start. And it's useful, it makes sense from a game design perspective, but it feels a little weird. So I can think, if I had to guess, I'd say it's only in around 5% of the dungeons we've made. Well, of course we're showing one of them off right now as I talk about how we're rarely using it. But it's important to keep in mind that one of the parts of this project is not just noticing what was wrong with Morrowind and needs to be fixed, but also noticing some of the faults in Skyrim and seeing how we can improve on their style of level design. All right.
Yeah, I think on the faults of Skyrim's design, you won't see a lot of locations in Skywind that are designed like pretty much huge corridors that just don't have any splitting paths. I think we have a lot of locations that actually do feature several paths in which they can be approached.
I remember a dungeon one of my friends on the team was working on recently. They showed it to me, and it didn't even have a central path. It was basically just 15 different corridors that all met up at the end.
Yeah, that's amazing.
how you-
Morrowind Design 101.
Alright, well, I want to... Okay, I don't want to die. I want to die from fall damage while on stream. Where's slow fall?
Okay, so there's one more thing I wanted to touch up about our to touch on when we are in the exteriors.
Go for it.
Before we've mentioned that we are trying to keep the locations similar in nature, and it especially so applies in the exteriors because we can't really change the design, the layout of the paths, all of that stays the same. What we are doing pretty much is there's a lot more elevation going, as you can see, because, well, there's a lot less fog in Skywind, or at least there is a lot of fog still, but there are days when it is completely clear. And so it is important to have a lot of side blockers, such as, well, mountains, hills, or there's pretty much just a lot of stuff going on in the exteriors to keep you occupied, to keep your eyes busy.
Such as these guys. Ooh, I'm gonna try my best to... They're fighting each other. I am a peaceful guy. I'm gonna try to not get involved in that.
You don't look
I
peaceful.
also got, as we're coming up on this Dwemer ruin, someone asked if we are going to get a look at them. I can answer this one. We will unfortunately not be looking at them this time around, but perhaps in the future we might.
Also, you should check out one of our dev videos on our YouTube channel. We showed off a Dwemer ruin quite recently in a gameplay demo. I believe it was one from a Fighters Guild quest, so absolutely worth taking a look at. Also,
Yes,
Cliff
I'm
Racers.
sure that it was. Flying high, so high.
Oh god.
The friend. And I think we're also coming up on a new region, aren't we?
Yes, Overseer, this is your time to share.
Oh yeah, obviously. So, Gracelands, yes. My pride and joy, a region that took me almost a year to finish, and there's a very good reason for that. Most of our regions were in a working condition, and most of stuff that had to be done there was limited to adding some critters or sound markers or making sure that there are no seams in landscape. Gracelands were quite different. Gracelands had to be designed from the ground up. Like, it was pretty much just land mesh with some random hills and a surprising amount of paths. There was a lot of paths, an ungodly amount of paths linked to every single location. So I had to take a step back and design it from the ground up. So you can see that there's, well, I just love this region. And you can see that the path we are following right now is, well, located between the hills. That is a thing that I really wanted to have as a part of design for this region, because Gracelands are quite small compared to different regions, and so you really need those side blockers. So most often when you are following the paths, you will find yourself completely surrounded by the landscape around you, and you won't see a single thing. So I think that is a very characteristic trait for this region. And also you have those beautiful hills that are just ending up in eroded, I think it's basalt or some other rock like that, but they're like such a beautiful feature of the region. And there's another thing that not really a lot of people know about when it comes to Gracelands, and we kind of showed it off during the last ModCon, which is that the region is pretty much split in half. The south of it is blighted and it doesn't really have any trees. Like, all of the trees are naked, they are dead, and there's a lot of hackle there. Hackle are found only in the south. And in contrary to the south, north is lush, and I wanted to really show that with the amount of different flora that can be found here. There are a lot of different flowers, as you can see, and it is just in general so colorful and vibrant. And now we're approaching another one of my, well, creations that I'm very proud of, and it is the Tower of Telvos, home of Master.
God, this looks really good. As much as I refuse to do a Telvati playthrough on any of my Morrowind runs, I gotta admit, they look pretty cool.
Yeah, I just love the idea of this huge mushroom protruding from the ruins. It is just beautiful, okay? And I really wanted to have those roots just spiraling on the sides. And that is another thing that I really took attention to in interiors. There's a lot of spaces in which like the roots just break through the wall and you see like the ruined parts, sections with bricks completely fallen over. Yeah, even here in the exterior you can see it.
Look at this person's hat. I never was able to tell what these were when I was playing the game for the first time, when I was like 8.
They are called...
Well,
there's something.
it's a little buggy, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of bugs in this game.
And you know what's the interesting part?
Mm-hmm.
This helmet, I believe, has the highest enchanting capacity of all.
That makes sense.
I think Argyle joined us.
Oh, we have a very special person
We have a new
coming in.
guest coming in?
Yeah, we have a new guest. Someone new into the fray. Would you like to say hello?
Hey, howdy everyone. Hope you're having a happy creation mod con. My name's Argyle. I'm a writing co-lead with Skywind. I also am a voice actor for some Dunmer, Dark Elves, for the less native Dunmeri savvy amongst us. And I've also done some orcs. Pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you.
Speaking of
Joined
writing, what can you tell
right
us
in
about
time.
Yeah, what can you tell us about the lore of Telvas?
Okay. Is there anything you guys have gone over already?
Yeah,
So
there's a
won't
lot of
be...
plans. We have just shown up.
Oh, okay, great. So, as many people know, Morrowind is generally divided into 3 political factions. There is the Telvanni, which is the relevant one here. I mean, just like social Darwinist wizards who determine the law based off of who wins. You know, great foundation for a society. And the master of this wizard tower is a bit eccentric, even for Telvanni standards. He is a big fan of imperial culture, or at least he finds it interesting. So he illegally usurped the land ownership that was previously here to build his own wizard tower, to be a wizard lord. And besides growing it as a mushroom, which is what the Telvanni do, he also commissioned for there to be a brick and mortar imperial fort style tower as well. He's kind of nuts for that.
I will briefly point out the
still a bit more normal
than was it Thorana? I believe I don't. My
Yeah,
Telvanni
Thorana.
really up to snuff. I'm a
I
Redoran.
think her brain is literally rotting. That's kind of in the lore.
I want to briefly point out these posters that we have. Our 2D team has been hard at work creating a lot of posters and textures and paintings, which we'll see some more of later, to just make the space feel more real and properly lived in. Really helps fill out the walls with just interesting things to catch your eye.
Yeah, Fury and Dal have been a major contribution as the leads of that team, and many others who I have yet to meet. But I'm hoping to meet a lot of people on the team and collaborate with them in my spaces.
This Cliff Racer anatomy is missing the part where it just describes how terrifying they are. Keep chasing you over and over. Get 15 of them at once.
Is this still considered friend shape though? That's the real question.
Have we properly credited the Overseer for this tower?
Yes, we've
yes,
gone over it.
Overseer.
This is their work.
Tell us about this space.
What was your mindset while you were creating it? Like what things did you keep in mind? Oh my god, get out of the
Shall
way.
not pass.
I am off limits? I have strong enough legs.
Should have used the jump spell there.
I should have used the jump spell, good point. But yeah, Overseer, what was your thought process while designing this location? Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
I think Overseer might have been. I think Overseer might have zero summed.
The rain must have gotten to him.
Oh no.
This is one of the fun parts of having an international passion project.
Yeah, we're all from all over the world. So, well, you know, this is how it goes.
Some people think that the time juggling is the issue. It's always the connectivity at the end of the day.
Yeah, people are in different areas, and it's very hard to get communication. However, I will say, on that topic, I'm very glad that we're so widespread. I feel like we have such a diverse team of people from so many different backgrounds that we get so many unique ideas. People kind of sprinkling bits of their own experience into their level design and work, and writing and everything else. And that can just be so great for the team.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm also happy on just like a broader level that there's so much camaraderie in the Skyrim modding like community as well. I mean, just coming together every year for Creation ModCon, I always think this is a ton of fun, and having the charity aspect this time am I correct that we're doing Doctors Without Borders? Is that still the case? Yeah.
Yes.
Again, please consider donating. I mean, such important work is being done here. I feel bad. Oh, there he goes. The connectivity too rough on Overseer. But yeah, keep the donations coming. I've heard great stuff so far. But yeah, this is the Dwemer Museum. Overseer, are you back?
I believe so.
Hello.
Yes, you are.
Tell us about this museum.
That's
Overseer.
grand.
Tell us.
Oh, so we are in the Dwemer Museum. Actually, that's a little-known feature of the original Telvos. I mean, Telvos in general had so many unique features to it that didn't really get anywhere in the original game. So my goal with the location was on what was already there. So you can see that this museum not only has some displays and artifacts, but it also has plaques describing what exactly they are. And so it is a proper museum. And also, I think there's an imperial section to the museum that is down here.
We got
and
some of those
it
paintings
is
we
a
were talking about earlier.
Also,
Yeah,
shout out to the flavor text writers. So proud of all you guys. I mean, this Skywind has flavor text out the wazoo. It's so much cool stuff. Oh, we got a tilted head over
the
there.
help of them,
somewhere.
those were invaluable.
Now, yeah, okay, I was gonna say I wasn't sure if the items in our inventory had them yet, but they seem to. You might notice here, weapons and other items have information about them. They have flavor text, giving you a brief description of what it is, potentially a quote, some lore. Yeah, they're not on everything when the project is done. And
if you haven't noticed,
I'm so excited for
we're kind of nerdy and we like to go really in depth with it, and we will go in depth with
Yeah.
it if given the opportunity.
All right.
I'm totally putting all my faith in that this is like a nerd exclusive event.
Oh, I activated a thing. Overseer, what did I do?
Oh, what might that be? Well, that's another thing that was present in original Telvos, but almost nobody knows about it. The hidden doors and loot in all of the towers, pretty much all of the towers, I believe. So basically, you have like hidden entrances which hide the chests of loot, but I have kind of expanded on it. So some of the areas some of those hidden doors lead you to new hidden rooms or to fight encounters. So it is that idea of building up on what's already there all over again.
To not embarrass myself by failing to lockpick in front of hundreds of people, I'm gonna use the knock spell.
Lock spells are a thing,
there we
people.
go.
Yeah, it's just got a long casting animation.
Makes sense.
Gotta be patient.
You can see that the towers are literally collapsing.
A dagger.
There's a spell for everything in this game, people. Explore them, try them out once they come out.
I will briefly bring up the fact that while spellcrafting is absolutely going to be in the game, it is not finished yet. And if anybody, this is a bit of a stretch. If anyone here is really good with UI development in the context of adding menus to the CK, you should volunteer.
Particularly if you are familiar with Flash.
Yeah.
Because that's the part of the big bottleneck is it's Flash based.
For some reason, I didn't know that until you told me about it. I don't know why it is, but it is. So if you have Flash experience and UI experience, we need spellcrafting to be done. And the more people we have, the sooner we can get that out.
Very good. I think now that we have a bit of downtime, I can ask us another question, and then we can get to we have some time for a more big question time.
Right on. What's going on in chat?
Yeah, someone asked, do they need the English Morrowind install to use our mod, or will their German version work just fine?
So, we are going to require owning Morrowind in order to play as Skywind. However, unfortunately at this time, we can't give specific answers about which version, just because that's information that we'll essentially not have until the project's done and we're focused on release as a team. I would hope so, though. But it will really just depend on a few quirks as we start really approaching release.
I would say also, I mean, even though we haven't really put too much work into developing the DRM at this point, because we aren't looking to like release tomorrow, of course, I would say that the team would really want to have the precedent of if you own Morrowind, you can play Skyrim. As long as you have a valid copy, I think that's what should be important, not the language settings.
Yeah, I'm not I do level design, so I'm not the most technical person, but I would imagine is a way to check for any copy of Morrowind.
Yo, can we just get like a little soft pan around this beautiful settlement?
I'm actually gonna hard pan to the Guars for a moment because I love them and they're adorable. Look at the Guar! I love Guars!
They're amazing. However,
look at the little guy!
Can we get Guars in the chat, folks?
Yeah.
Can we get Guars in the chat?
Can we Guar?
He's kind of sitting still. Oh, he's alive. He's still breathing.
Don't worry.
Every single project, including like official ESO, does small Guars using chicken animations.
Well,
it is like such a consistent feature.
I will point out, on that topic of animations, I don't believe there's anything nearby that can properly show it off. However, we are planning on getting custom animations for our creatures. It's gonna take a while and kind of is a bottleneck. So, if you have animation experience, your talent would be extremely appreciated. If you check out the progress updates channel on our Discord, you can see some of our animations that have been recently coming along. I don't know if
We've actually got a good addition of animators recently. I think they're the most friendly team within the project, department-wise. All the animators that we've gotten recently are the sweetest, most constructive criticism type people I've ever watched in any art field. I mean, it's just a great team, and there's a lot of great creature work going around right now. So, I mean, any animators out there, if there was a time to join the Skyrim animation team, I'd say right now is a great opportunity.
Okay, I'm gonna have to force myself to stop looking at these guars because I love them and we need to move on.
You can do
Quick
it.
shoutouts. A lot of the other departments are open as well, so if any of y'all are curious to do level design, nav meshing is always something we welcome.
File cutting as well.
2D, 3D art.
Yeah, if anyone's interested, we have a Discord server. You can find it on Google. We are totally just available to have a little text chat, just what's available, what do you need to do, what do we need help with. I mean, it's the same for I think any project out there. We're always open. It's all community led, so I mean, we're just happy that you would even consider spending your time with us.
If we can take a brief moment to start talking about this city, we gave a bit of a lore explanation for Telvos and talked about how the intricate mix of Telvanni and Imperial structures is something we really tried to make obvious and also make interesting. Argyle, what would you like to say about Voss?
There's honestly not a lot to say about Vos, which is funny.
Vos?
I mean, even if you go check out UESP, the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages, it's a very sentence-long article. But essentially, this is a Velothi fishing village. It's very old, kind of out in the middle of nowhere, rural town. Not a lot going on. But since Master Aryan entered and took over Telvos, it's kind of somewhat fallen under his jurisdiction and protection. And so as his tower has grown, you can see it's actually invasively been blasting through all of the old Velothi buildings.
Which they just have to deal with. Although it does make navigating around here a little bit more cramped.
Yeah, the defining feature of Voss is that it's literally just falling apart. And I think it's beautiful. It is falling apart in such an aesthetic way.
Well,
Especially when you go outside.
In chat, people are saying, Overseer, you're a little quiet right now. Chat, would you also be willing to tell me if I'm being quiet right now?
You can probably just turn up your microphone then. Yeah, I want to make sure our sound balance, or I can edit our sound balancing. I want to make sure things are working. As an aside, about the city falling apart, here's a fun example of it. If we head down here and don't get stuck.
You're such a jumper, Newton.
I have 100 acrobatics on all of my Morrowind characters because I spam jump as I go through Vivek City.
I think you might need to take out a torch or something. It's looking a little dark on my end.
Yeah, well, we can also just wait till the next day because I want to get some proper sunlight in this location.
Someone said I sound like Todd, and now I feel many different things about that.
I get told I sound like Todd Howard a lot as well. Usually while I'm playing online games.
Yeah, I'm shocked it wasn't about Newton. You have two Todds in the chat.
I will play a multiplayer game, and then I will make a call out, and everyone on my team says, "Hey, dude, you kind of sound like Todd Howard," and I don't know how to feel about it.
Newton, can you say the magic words?
It just works, really. Skywind's going to have 16 times the detail.
Oh god, it sounds one-to-one.
Okay.
Nuts.
So, on the topic of the city falling apart, here's a cool example of it. This was made just recently, I believe, this month. This little wooden kind of structure to help keep this building from falling apart. I think it looks excellent. You can see the combination of the Telvanni branches coming in, the collapsing wall, and obviously the new scaffolding.
I'm really proud of our level design team. I think it is one of the most attention to detail type folk out there.
16 times the detail, in fact.
Yeah, for real though this time.
Shout out to UCM and Nick, our leads. They're gods
amazing
to us.
Yeah, they're really helping this project come along. I believe this area was specifically done by Nick.
Yes, the entire boss is actually his work, and I think it is one of the most beautiful and interesting ideas we got going.
Apologies for trespassing, sir, but I'm here to show off the fact that this house is in fact tilted on the inside to match the exterior.
Living here must be awful.
It can be difficult to make interiors match exteriors. As someone who's worked on a Vivek Canton, it's hard. But obviously, even though 99% of people aren't really going to notice, it's still something that we do care about. I would say Skywind is a game that's kind of filled with minor things that 99% of people aren't going to notice. There's a lot of minor, in-universe Easter eggs that I think a lot of level designers like to include. Levitation only.
I don't know if this is sorry, Newton.
No.
I don't know if this is a common practice amongst like the gaming industry or not, but I always thought it was really cute that our level design team calls it TARDISing, like Doctor Who, the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Yes.
They try really hard to
before.
make sure that interiors conform to exteriors. Like it's like a standard that they hold. It's really cute.
I
Mora was a
assume that's
nightmare.
an industry term. I mean, I think I've made up my fair share of terms that definitely aren't industry standard. Like, I remember when I wanted to make a distinction between dungeons and cities, I just started saying passive and hostile interiors. And that's kind of been accepted, but I just made that up.
Ooh, someone's asking a final question. They're asking if we can see Telmora from Boss, or is it still too far away for us?
I think you could see it. I think you can see it from here.
can.
Oh wait, there we go.
Yeah, but it is. I think our archipelago is actually a bit further, so there's actually like some sea between Telmora and Voss. Because in original game, well, they were just separated by a river or like a canal that was very small. We moved it a bit back, so it actually looks like it is a bit far. Although I remember that one of the shipmasters, either at Telmora or Telvos, tells you an odd request. But yes, if you want to travel to them respectively.
Looking at faraway areas is something I've been enjoying, particularly Red Mountain looming over you the entire time.
Yeah, that is the elevation I was talking about. It is gorgeous. Like, there's so much more going on when it comes to like the shape of the terrain.
Now,
and you can see that this stuff also is between the hills.
Just because we get these comments every year, we didn't forget the fog. It just doesn't make for a fun presentation if everything's all foggy all the time.
Yeah,
we know Morrowind is foggy. It's not going anywhere. Don't worry about it if you are.
If my memory is correct about Morrowind's fog, I believe we're going to include fog. Argyle, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe we're going to include fog, but not to the same intensity as Morrowind. Mildly intense, but not as intense. Is that correct?
I mean, we're doing it for artistic reasons now, whereas Morrowind, partially artistic, but also like hardware requirement of just render distance being really taxing. I mean, it was one of those cool things of like limitation breeds innovation, but I mean, I think we do still plan on have it being really foggy for atmospheric purposes, but we do try to take advantage of level of detail or LOD on our 3D objects so that there is a bit more of a horizon. It's a balance, I think.
Yeah, I will point out one thing that I believe you should be able to see from the distance, even with the fog, which is Red Mountain. More specifically, now unfortunately we can't show this off in this stream, but Red Mountain erupts sometimes with plumes of smoke.
Yes, that's such a scary effect when you're just going through some outskirt regions and you see that stack of smoke rising from above the mountain and the air slowly getting denser and like more dim.
I believe
it
that
is
is what
such
triggers
a
light
scary
storms.
effect.
Yeah, we want to do a lot with that. And as someone who's looked over a lot of the voice acting scripts, I can tell you NPCs will react to that. When Red Mountain erupts in a plume of smoke, everyone's gonna go like, "Oh my god, are we all gonna die?" It's a myriad.
As someone who has recorded voice acting, I have done those lines.
Yeah,
hold on a second. Where are we, guys?
We are in Dubdilla, which is a dungeon we will not be fully showing off because this place is gargantuan. However, given that it's on our route, I thought we'd stop in for a brief moment and have a look at how purple it is. Look at this place.
Who created this? I need a quick reminder, Newton.
This was done by one of our great level designers, Oysteri, who may or may not be in the chat right now. If they are, hello. You did a good job.
Hi, Osteri, if you're here.
We love you, Osteri. We love you.
Hello.
Yes, amazing, outstanding job as always.
Have you considered not
the
living
villa
in
is beautiful.
There he is. I see Oysteri in the chat with a solid.
Oh, sick! What's up, Osteri?
You did a good job. It's very Orpal in here. Very cool.
Yeah.
Dude, there's no way you did Orpal, dude.
I did make the same joke that I also made when we were prepping. Yes.
I didn't even know what that was.
I think I sent you what it meant afterwards, didn't I?
You did. I never played any of those games, so I had no idea what that was.
Really,
This looks like where Grimace would live.
he lives inside of one of these rocks. You break him free as part of the quest. It's official.
I don't even know what the joke is referring to, but I'm just
you know
going
what?
with
Don't
the
even
flow.
worry about it. I'm just being dumb, honestly.
Oh, look at the
We all
European.
are.
Doesn't know about McDonald's cartoon characters.
Oh,
But speaking
that
of quests,
character.
there's a quest associated here too, right?
I believe so. That's why it's so big. If my memory serves me correctly, it is the vampirism quest, or one of the vampirism quests. It's part of the reason we don't want to show the whole thing off. No spoilers.
Yeah, but which one specifically though? Arga, do you know that?
Like the curing vampirism quest.
What, the quest?
Yeah, what's the quest here? I forget.
Oh, this is the Cure Vampirism quest. If you are sick of everyone actually hating you and killing you on sight. Oh, that was close, Newton.
No, I
that
think
was...
it was. No, I don't think it was close. I think it was.
Hey!
Wait.
No, don't do
We
it.
made it.
It's way too close.
We're very refined here at Skywind.
Yeah, maybe I might have spent 5 years of my life making this game, but I'm still not good at it. I have bad news.
We're good in we're good in spirit. We're good in spirit. No.
Okay.
Oh, did you really? Oh.
Well, this is why we have levitation. This is why we
it's
accidentally
levitation.
unequip levitation.
It just works.
I think I'm getting bit. My toes are getting bit by a slaughterfish. Okay. Yeah, so levitation is in the game. Now, the one we have on the player test character is the default levitation. That's why it's so slow. The higher the point value, the faster it'll be. However, it does work, which is great. It's amazing to see it actually working. It took a while to implement, if I remember correctly. There were a lot of coding quirks that made it hard to do. For some
Yeah,
reason.
there were like collision problems, but we had a coder join us who made it a little project of his, and he got it working really well.
I love stuff like
Yeah,
this.
it pretty much just works the same as it did in Morrowind.
It does
but
just
I remember
work,
that.
correct.
Look at all that. Look at all that Urple.
There is a lot of it. All right, I'm gonna head out of here.
All
before I
right,
get
yeah,
too
we
long.
got to get you guys out of here before you start making more Urple jokes.
I gotta. Oh god.
But I believe that for years, when it comes to levitation, we were just kind of faking it with putting like an invisible platform beneath the player or something like that. It was just, it worked, but it was very junky, and now
I
it is
believe
like,
we had a new coder come in and just fix it immediately, right? Was that Borg?
yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
hey, I wouldn't necessarily say it like fixed or like
That's
janky.
fair,
but
that's
I mean,
fair.
it is really hard to get it
Maybe.
working, and I mean,
guess finished would be a better word.
a lot of people put a lot of hard work into that levitation, so I really respect getting levitation to work in any form, even if it was different than what we remembered. But
That's fair. I guess.
I am glad to have it intuitive like this.
Yeah, a critical point that I want to acknowledge is that Morrowind had a lot of systems that have been difficult for us to implement, and we are trying our best to actually get them to in the game. Spellcrafting is one we mentioned.
Careful not to exit the door while you're levitating.
Yeah, wait for it.
Okay,
Wait.
levitation might not be entirely functional, but it's mostly functional.
Yes. It is almost functional.
This is a Bethesda game. What do you expect?
They just weren't
For a
prepared to
moment,
handle
I
the
thought that
collision
it just
things.
like threw you back. I thought that you like left the same door as you entered. I thought that it was like a door to the outside area.
No, we
God.
are heading back. Another use of jump spell, by the way.
Yeah, I love designing for caves, so just seeing all these cave stuff being shown off today has just been like superb for me.
That's really funny because I don't. You're definitely like alone
Yeah.
there. Caves are.
Yeah, you are in minority.
Yeah, caves.
We hate designing caves.
They look cool. If people are wondering why a lot of level designers don't like working on caves, a lot of tile sets. I know we were just talking earlier about how tile sets are very modular, but in a sense, when you're working with the tomb set, you stitch the wall piece to the corner piece to the corner piece to the corner piece, and you make a room.
No such luck with caves.
Yeah, like you kind of just put pieces together like a Lego set, and they snap together, and it looks great. Caves, we have a cave tile set in like the sort of Lego set way, but if you use it, it will look bad. You have to kind of break from the tile set in order to actually make it look good, and that just takes a lot of time. So
yeah, generally, like the tiles that we have is, I think, mostly from Skyrim, and what we are doing instead, we are just like bashing the single rocks together
Pretty
to
much.
create the caves.
So, which means,
Yeah,
in
it's
some sense, it's
painful.
great. Our caves look way more dynamic. In another sense, a cave takes like 3 times as long as another dungeon of similar size. So
Ooh, can we get a look at that coast real quick?
Oh,
I'm really curious
Oh
about that
yeah,
coastline.
This is something Overseer was
There's
mentioning
one more
earlier
thing
about
I want.
increasing the length of the water.
Overseer, yeah, you've been
Yeah.
going hard on this on the coastline, haven't you?
I really love it. Like, I think that it is one of the strengths of Gracelands that it has like a very defined coastline, and when you go to the coastline, it actually looks like it is distinct. Like you can see that there are different trees there. I think there are marshmallows, although I think there should be there. I don't remember.
Hey, buddy.
But yeah, oh,
A friend.
don't.
I did this during our
No,
practice.
don't
do a scream.
I'm not gonna do it.
Don't do it,
Remember
Newton.
last-
Don't do it.
He's just
Last
patting
time
the
you tried to
ground.
do
He's a
it.
little guy.
Yes.
Does
good.
anyone else think that those trees look like bugles, like the chip?
A little bit.
The
I kind of
bugles?
expect them to start singing.
Oh,
I don't
It's
know.
like-
No, the chips, yeah.
Oh, and you can see that there are like, different mushrooms growing there, like the spheres, and that there are
Oh,
mean guys
is
here.
that the mud crab merchant?
It
that
is
the
not,
mud crab
unfortunately. It
merchant?
is a normal mud crab. Mud crab merchant is like there-ish. Where's the mud crab merchant?
No,
Dagon
that
Fell?
is not
It is in the
there.
south.
Is it Dagon
Deep
Fell?
south.
It's deep
No,
south.
it's not Dagon Fell.
It is south of
It's in the
Molag
Ascadian
Mar.
Isles.
Isn't I don't know anything about Morrowind, clearly.
Oh, you're right. It is south of Molag Amur. You're right.
I don't remember.
Molag Mar. Oh, and Molag Amur, like, I mean, the same thing, pretty
There's so
much.
many Easter
Yeah,
eggs
I
in
know.
Morrowind. I have despite my many hours in it, I have trouble keeping track of them all.
And you can see that
Oh, man.
this is a small detail of the region, but those washed out seaweeds on the shores and branches, it is so cool, okay? I just really love working on such small details. And here's a small farm that some of you might recognize because something very similar was included in Aube, another great Morrowind mod. I think we once shouted out Tamriel Rebuild for some of their cluttering work, and this is another thing of Ash and the Blight. Highly recommend. That's a great mod if you are interested in Telvanni and the Gracelands area. I would wholeheartedly recommend.
We're about to show off something that I am certain is going to get questions. Traveling and fast traveling and how that will work. Argyle, do you want to go into detail about that?
Pay for it.
Fair enough.
I can give a better answer than that. Morrowind is notorious or famous, depending on your opinion, for being like the only Elder Scrolls game where you can't natively travel from just the map. You actually have to pay for services and go along established routes or through magical services, which we have maintained. And will be a toggle for accessibility reasons and just because the coding's already there that you can enable fast travel from the map. I personally don't recommend it. I think Morrowind is better if you have to plan your route and then make use of the established trade routes. But it was just one of those things of like, it's already there. It's basically already put into Skyrim, so we kept it for people who really want the option. But otherwise, fast travel quest markers are all off by default for Skywind.
Yeah, quest markers is the other big one, which, once again, also would highly recommend playing without, but we do understand that audiences have shifted a bit, and while most of us don't want quest markers in the game, there are people who do want them. And making the game more accessible for people who want to play it differently is an important part of game design.
I'm sorry, chat. I'm one of those people. The brain rot is strong with me.
Oh no. The Skyrim has overtaken you.
How
also,
could you?
I believe earlier we were talking about showing off Sadrith Mora at night.
Oh yeah,
Mushroom
Sadrith
people,
Mora.
mushroom
Sadrith
people.
Mora is such a unique location, and at the same time, I think the last time we showed it was in the battle at Enturdam's game.
So a while ago.
Yeah, like
Also not
4 or
live.
4 years. Yeah. So like world premiere.
This is I wanna mention this tiny area, even though it's small and there's really not that much going on here. A common issue with Skyrim and Elder Scrolls games in general is their cities feeling like no one's really living in them. And we've really put a lot of effort into our city exteriors of just making them feel more lived in, putting more things in there for people to interact with, and just generally making them look prettier, adding more stuff.
Legendary Sage Mora.
City looks great, honestly.
So do you have the... Oh, sorry, Marco. Go for it.
I believe we're also planning to go somewhere else that we previously mentioned in this stream, aren't we, Newton?
I believe so. We're heading... Well, first we're heading to another city, and then we're going to... I think Molag Mar is next on our list, which is one of the cantons.
Yes.
No, not a Vivek canton.
It is the only canton that is not in Vivek City. Easy to remember.
Let me close the door on my way out to be polite. What is this door?
Wait, did they say Molag Mar or Molag Gamur?
Totally the same thing. Definitely not.
Molag Mar is the building, Molag Gamur is the region.
But Molag Mar is in Molag Gamur, so...
That's correct.
Yeah, that is... I mean...
I say as I braid my gray lore beard.
You are our lore master.
Oh man, that's a title I cannot believe I somehow stumbled into. I do not feel like a lore master at all.
I know a little bit.
Was it a stumble or a faceplant? That's the real question.
You know, you just wind up where you wind up sometimes, and that's okay. Go with the flow.
Now that we've got a little bit of a moment, do we have any more time for another question from chat?
What's up, chat?
We have plenty of questions. We have plenty of questions.
Well, let's take advantage of being live. What's up with chat? Let's answer some of their questions.
Yeah. Let me. I have found some good ones that I really want to get show off. One from Hoppity Hop. Sorry. What location has been the most challenging to create so far? I think we can all say this one, but someone chime in. What do you think?
It really, I would obviously varies level designer to level designer what they've worked on, and we kind of talked about caves being difficult to work on. Although, one interesting thing that kind of stands out to me, less is challenging and more work-intensive. This is a location that is not yet done. However, around a few months ago, we had I think it was a 6-person meeting, where we talked about Dagothur, not the person, but the location. And I'm obviously not going to give any details, because that's main quest finale, it's the final dungeon. But that was a whole meeting of like 6 people all going over, oh, maybe you should put this here. Maybe, no, let's do this. What about this? What about this? And there was this constant back and forth. And I mean, that difficult isn't the right word, but it was definitely one of the most engaging and experiences I've had as a level designer. It's just bouncing off everybody else.
Designing for egg mines has been interesting for me.
Oh my god.
It's a lot of having to
yeah.
blend not so much the cave issue, but blending in like the nature of it. And like the ooey gooiness of Quamas has been fun to think about, but I've taken a little break from it.
Yeah, so if caves are hard to make because they can't align to tile sets, Quama is even worse in my opinion. Like, it looks great, it looks amazing, our level designers are doing a great job. I have trouble with it. There's a reason I
love you, Marco.
For me, there's like a developing love-hate relationship with Galvani interiors, because on one hand, they are beautiful, they are so organic, they are flowing, they are just gorgeous. However, on the other end, putting any sort of clutter there is a nightmare because the floor is uneven and you either have to like very slightly adjust everything or you have to like compromise and put some like floor planes over it. And it is just like, I tried to fit a single rug into Master Arion's chambers for about 5 minutes and I barely managed.
I'm tempted to steal this fishing pole right in front of this guard. The urges are.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see Molag Mar.
Oh yeah, well that is the next on our list. I will point out. Somebody asked in chat. I have it pulled up in another tab. How will leveling up work? So this is something that's interesting. Now, very work in progress menu I'm about to show. It's very subject to change. This is more just a placeholder for us to look at how the system will work. I would say our leveling up system is most similar to Oblivion's in a sense. But it's kind of a mix of all 3 games. Essentially, we have the kind of special stat system that Morrowind had. We also have all the skills that Morrowind had. But as you level them up, once you hit certain milestones, you'll unlock perks. And those perks are kind of like the things you get in Oblivion, although they'll be obviously varied, and we're making our own system. Once again, heavy work in progress, but we wanted to make the level up system feel a little bit more dynamic than it was in Morrowind. Well, not just doing Skyrim, because we wanted to make it feel like Morrowind.
Yeah, I think the base idea is to like take the best aspects of all Elder Scrolls games and merge them together into what would work best.
Absolutely.
Arc system from Skyrim was interesting, but it was kind of underdeveloped. But it is still a good addition overall to Morrowind's system.
I would say in general one of the ways that I like to describe Skywind is it's almost less of just a straight remake and more of how a lot of us think the game would have been made if it was made today by without time restrictions, basically. I really feel like a core part of our experience is trying to hit the same artistic intent that the original developers had, while also kind of expanding on their original ideas in ways that don't seem too out there with what they originally did.
Yeah, I also...
This is like a vision statement.
Yeah.
We are coming up towards the end of our time segment. We will be here a little bit to answer questions and chill out for it. But we do have one more thing to show you all, guys. That
I will point out, while our time segment on this YouTube stream is coming to a close, we are the last slot for ModCon. So if you hop over to the Twitch, we're just going to stay live, at least for a little bit.
Yes,
so
we're just gonna be goofy and...
Once we've wrapped up here, feel free to join us. After that, we're out of scripted locations to go to, so we're just going to be walking around for a little bit until we get tired of it.
Answering questions and, last minute second opportunity, please consider donating to Doctors Without Borders.
Absolutely.
Helps out innocent people in need, and it goes to a very good cause. Thanks, Scans.
Real quick, just in the distance, Argyle, what is that? There's a thing in the sky.
Is that a rock?
It is a rock.
The potato?
There is a potato in the sky, yeah.
Egg.
Sheagora threw a potato at Epic City. The Ministry of Truth, very on the nose, Michael, is fully modeled, and while we won't be going over there, it is in the game. I believe we've shown it off in some of our Epic City showcases, if you're interested.
Yes, and I think that UCM is actively working on the interior right now.
Oh, really? Well,
that's
then there we go.
His active claims. Yes.
I gave him some input on that. Yeah, he's working on it.
That's awesome.
It's a very beautiful soliloquy. I like to call it UCM and the fight against the floating rock, or the
UCM and the fight against Tardising. The original Ministry of Truth was way larger on the inside than the outside. I think it's like 10 times bigger. I have no idea what he's doing.
Bigger than imagination.
But
16 times the detail.
16 times the interior.
16 times the size.
Honestly, I probably don't want to look at that just so I can be surprised when I play Skywind. This is one of the woes of working as a level designer. I love working on this game. I'm so passionate about Skywind. But oh man, when I play Skywind, now I'm going to know where everything is.
Yeah, it's like you design it all, you're just like, oh, where's the fun of exploration?
Yeah, I know. I almost wish I could wipe my memory before I played it.
I think that we all kind of approached this project, began working on it with the idea that we are creating it so we can one day play it. But as we create more and more locations, that idea grows more remote.
As I started doing reviews recently for existing locations, and have now seen like 50 locations that I didn't make, it's like, oh, well, okay. But thankfully, that's what all of you are here for. You can play the game and hopefully enjoy it. Alright, let me go into Malegmore.
Coming on to the last 30 seconds for ModCon.
Oh boy,
I just want to
our
say
time slot's running out.
Yep, our time slot's running out, but I just want to say thank you to all the people at ModCon. We really appreciate the opportunity for getting to show off the progress in our work, and we hope we helped raise money for a good cause. And as a new person, I'm very happy to see that you guys are still keeping up the good fight for individual projects and creators, so thank you.
Speaking of new people on dev teams, if you're interested, volunteer, not just for our project, but for all of these projects. We all need new talent, and if you're passionate about something, just do it. We have a lot of specific branches, like file cutting, that are relatively easy to learn how to do and get into, and if you want to help, we absolutely would appreciate your help. I'm speaking on behalf of every project here. I'm almost certain they'd concur.
Anyways, that's it for us. Please come to our Twitch if you want to keep watching us do stuff. But until then, thank you very much. Have a good day, and
have a good day, everyone.
Thanks for the great ModCon.
It's been a great,
Thank you, ModCon.
And it was great.
It's wonderful.